Under the pitch-black night, rain crashes down like a waterfall. A young man kneels with a brush in hand, drawing twisted symbols. Blood fills his mouth as he whispers, "Grant me fame, grant me power, grant me wealth. Only then can I cure my mother, pay off my debts, and finally live a decent life." Just then, his phone explodes with notifications of loans and overdue payments piling up. Driven insane, he screams with burning eyes, "Oh great existence, have mercy on me, protect me, love me. I offer my soul and body. I willingly become your slave. Let me become your star." Suddenly, a blinding bolt of lightning rips through the sky and strikes his body. When the smoke clears, only a broken corpse remains, barely breathing. Then his eyes slowly open, his head pounding like it is being split apart. The young man vaguely remembers working overtime on a company project. "Where is this?" he mutters in confusion. He looks down at a puddle of rainwater and suddenly screams, "Wait, is that me? Why does my face look like this?" Zhu Shen freezes in shock. In front of him stands a gigantic ancient tree towering into the sky. He blurts out, "What the hell is this place?" In his panic, a strange voice echoes around him. "Congratulations, young man. Your ritual succeeded. I have answered your call. You may now make 3 wishes, anything you desire." Zhu Shen stares wide-eyed at a floating talking book before him. There is no way something like this exists on Earth. Did I really transmigrate? So this is my golden finger. But hold on, for a main character cheat, only 3 wishes feels kind of cheap. Thinking that, he speaks to the book. "Hey, golden finger, my first wish is to have 10 more wishes." The book curls into a cold smile. "Haha, interesting," it replies with hidden meaning. Suddenly the book expands, floating in midair, crackling with lightning. Its voice booms like thunder. "I thought something went wrong with the ritual. Seems that is not the case." Zhu Shen steps back in fear as the scene unfolds. The book is gone. In its place stands a monstrous beast, massive and terrifying, making everything around it look tiny. It examines him and asks, "Are you the new soul?" Zhu Shen collapses to the ground, stammering soul contract. "What does that mean? What are you?" The monster answers with pure contempt. "Mortal, you are not worthy to know me. The original owner of this body offered his soul and flesh to pray to me. I took his soul. This body belongs to me, yet you occupy it. Tell me, does that not make you mine as well?" Zhu Shen's face turns pale. "So this is how I transmigrated. This is not a golden finger at all. I was dragged here as a bionegitone replacement. I have to run now." Sensing his intent, the monster snaps 2 fingers and speaks coldly. "Oh right, I forgot to tell you. Once a contract is formed, the moment you think of breaking it, you will suffer endless torture." Flames engulf Zhu Shen's body. The pain tears through every inch of flesh as he screams like a madman. The monster watches with disdain. Just a weak soul, how boring. You should just die." Even exhausted, Zhu Shen grits his teeth. "If a breach is caused by force majeure, Party B is exempt from liability. If I cannot fulfill the contract because of your interference, then the responsibility is yours. So you cannot kill me for breach." The monster pauses. "Oh, a mortal trying to reason with me?" Nearly burned beyond recognition, Zhu Shen forces himself to speak. "I know you are powerful enough to kill me instantly, yet you did not. That means you are testing me, seeing if I am suitable. So tell me, am I qualified now to sign a new contract with you?" Thunderous laughter echoes through the sky. "Ha, interesting, very interesting. You are the first to bargain with me. You have caught my attention, brat." The moment it finishes speaking, a golden glowing paper floats in front of Zhu Shen. Shining words appear, asking if he agrees to sign the contract. The monster's voice turns majestic. "I have decided, if you fulfill 1 wish for me, I will grant you a new life. And my wish is to gain 999 more wishes. I should warn you, you do not have much time. In about a minute, you will lose consciousness and die." Zhu Shen feels cornered with no way out. This shameless monster just copied my wish. Seriously, no shame at all. The monster presses him again. "So, what is your answer?" Zhu Shen forces a smile. "What choice do I have? I will listen to you, boss." The main character quietly signs the glowing paper. The contract states that the signer uses his soul as collateral and must complete 999 conditions set by the contractor. Once completed, he can activate a lucky reward mechanism. At the bottom is Zhu Shen's signature. Now he stands in front of room number 3, inside a cold and lifeless building. Zhu Shen grips the key and mutters in annoyance. "That damn boss just dumped me here." The monster's voice still echoes in his mind. "If I need anything, I will find you." Zhu Shen frowns. "So what am I supposed to do here? Guess I do whatever I want." He sighs. Normally, people who sign contracts like this get worked to death. But whatever, he is the boss after all. At this point, words are useless. I will just deal with it as it comes. Zhu Shen pushes the door open. The room is a complete mess. Furniture overturned, papers scattered everywhere. He calls out softly, "Is anyone home?" A heavy feeling rises in his chest, worse than he expected. He picks up a blood-stained paper and reads it. What the hell? 1 collateral loan requires 2,000 milliliters of blood. What kind of family is this? Suddenly, a rough voice explodes like thunder. An iron rod swings down and smashes into Zhu Shen's head. Blood splatters everywhere. The attacker curses. Playing dead now? You dare ignore my calls? Tired of living? Another man in a black suit steps forward. Hey, do not kill him. The one with the rod lights a cigarette calmly. Relax. This kid is a warrior. His body is tough. Zhu Shen's head throbs as blood runs down his face. He whispers, "Who are you?" Before he finishes, several brutal kicks slam into him. The man with the rod snarls. Borrowed money last week and already forgot? Fried your brain with drugs? And where is that old woman? Not selling blood to repay us? Did she die on the street? He smirks with contempt. Your mom is really stupid. Imagine risking her life for a useless trash like you, taking high-interest loans. Trash will always be trash. Born trash. Gifted trash. Always dreaming of turning things around. In the end, you are just a low-level warrior drowning in debt. Neither you nor that old woman are worth a damn to me. Each kick drags Zhu Shen into blurred memories. A gentle woman's voice echoes. Xiao Shen, do you want to give up becoming a warrior? A young boy replies softly. Yes, I do not want you to suffer. Last night, I had a dream. I saw you working every day until you were exhausted and never woke up again. I do not want that. What if you never wake up? What if I never become a warrior? The mother only smiles gently and rubs his head. Xiao Shen, it is okay. Even if the sky falls, I can endure it. So you must believe in yourself. The memory ends. Zhu Shen's blood-covered eyes snap open, flashing with an eerie green light. The blonde thug keeps yelling, swinging the iron rod. Hey, trash, why are you not saying anything? Before he can finish, Zhu Shen throws a devastating punch straight into his mouth. The blow sends the blonde thug flying, rolling across the floor. Hearing the loud crash, the other two rush forward. Hey, stop. Keep hitting him and he will die. That is enough. Before they can finish speaking, a figure rushes in. Their teammate is blasted away, smashing into the wall and shattering it. That single punch knocks the blonde thug out cold on the spot. The two remaining men are horrified. Wait, was that not the same kid? No, something is seriously wrong. Lightning crackles around Zhu Shen's body. His eyes burn with rage as he roars. What is wrong with someone from the lower class wanting to start over? Stop spewing nonsense. Shut the hell up. The two stare at him cautiously. He was only E-rank second stage. How is he acting so arrogant? Brother Jun, teach him a lesson. Break one arm and one leg. The other nods. Both charge at him at the same time. The main character feels the power surging inside him. So this is what they mean by warrior and E-rank second stage. Watching their movements, he realizes their ranks are clearly above his. The man in black rushes in first with killing intent. Zhu Shen observes calmly. Every attack path becomes crystal clear in his eyes. A sharp light flashes across his gaze. The iron rod slams into the ground, sending dust everywhere. When the dust clears, Zhu Shen is gone. The man in black feels a chill run down his spine. Too late. From behind, Zhu Shen delivers a vicious kick straight to his head. The man in black takes the full hit. Blood sprays out. The other thug panics and rushes to help. Damn it. Was he not just E-rank second stage? How is he this fast and this strong? He thinks he has found Zhu Shen's blind spot. One strike and he can shatter his ribs. But reality is cruel. Zhu Shen spins around and fires a lightning-fast kick into his chest. The impact makes him spit blood. His eyes fill with shock. How did this kid know my position without even looking? How can this power be this terrifying? Powerless, the man in black drops to his knees and begs, "Spare us. We were just following orders. It was Lin Yu. He told us to collect the debt." Zhu Shen frowns. He has no idea who Lin Yu is. He stares coldly at the kneeling man. "I will repay the debt. Tell him not to bother me again. Take your people and get out." The thugs quickly drag each other out. Silence returns to the room. Zhu Shen narrows his eyes and speaks coldly. "You were watching, right, boss?" The moment he finishes, a mysterious book floats out from a crack in space. "Oh, you can see me. Sharp instincts." Zhu Shen frowns. "I felt a strange power in my body just now. Were you secretly helping me?" The book replies proudly. "Of course. Without me lending you a bit of power, you would be minced meat. Be grateful." Zhu Shen gets excited. "So you really are my golden finger boss. If you can lend me power anytime." The book snaps angrily. "Do not get ahead of yourself. This is not power immortal like you can handle. You were lucky it did not exceed the limit. Otherwise, you would have exploded before they even touched you." Zhu Shen refuses to back down. "So working under you gives me no benefits? If I grow stronger, it will be easier to fulfill your wishes too, right?" The book answers slowly. "Relax. According to the contract, I will grant you a useful reward. I just have not decided what yet. But borrowing my power again? Stop dreaming, unless you want to die faster." The book closes its eye and falls silent. Yet inside, the book is deep in thought. This kid is beyond my expectations. Not only did he handle borrowed power, he stayed surprisingly stable. Could he be my turning point of fate? Zhu Shen suddenly asks, "So have you decided on your second wish?" The book answers vaguely, "Not yet." Zhu Shen clicks his tongue. The second wish. You said I had to fulfill your wishes, remember? The book chuckles. Oh, that? I have not thought of it yet. The book continues with hidden meaning. Relax, I have plenty of ideas. When the time is right, you will know. Zhu Shen frowns. So what exactly do you want me to do? The book shrugs. Whatever you feel like. Zhu Shen shakes his head. I know nothing about this world. There is too much to figure out. I hoped his wish would give me direction. Guess I cannot rely on him. He decides to check the kid's phone. If he has to live this life, he needs to understand it. Scrolling through the messages, Zhu Shen is stunned. All debt notices and receipts for expensive supplements. Being a warrior costs this much? Suddenly, one message freezes him. Mom collapsed and is in the hospital. Come to Tianlei Hospital now. Panic hits. Zhu Shen rushes to the hospital and pushes open the ward door. Inside, a girl sits quietly beside the bed, watching the patient. Zhu Shen feels awkward and uneasy. He studies the girl and thinks, this must be Zhu Yuran, my sister. And the woman on the bed is Mom. All this suffering, was it because of me? He lowers his voice. Sis, sorry I am late. How is Mom? Zhu Yuran looks at him with cold resentment. What excuse this time? Training for a breakthrough? Or busy doing something important? Mom kept working until she collapsed, all to repay your debts. Why? Why can you not even come see her? She gave you everything. This family gave you everything. Do you know? Because of your debt, Mom could not even afford intensive care. She survived on sheer will. She almost died. Do you understand? Tears stream down her face. Sorry, Xiaoshen. Mom and I are tired. She takes out a card. This is your living expense for half a year. From now on, I will take care of Mom. Zhu Shen is stunned. Sis, are you saying? Zhu Yuran answers coldly. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. Outside the hospital, the air feels heavy. The book suddenly speaks. I can feel your anxiety. Did her words hit you that hard? To you, she is just a stranger, right? Zhu Shen smiles bitterly. I did not expect you to comfort people. I am fine. She just reminds me of my past. I once stood like that too, wanting to speak but unable to. The book snorts. Just do not let this delay my wish. Zhu Shen looks at it firmly. You said if I prove my value, you will help me grow stronger, right? If I become strong enough, I can make up for all of this, right? The book chuckles proudly. Of course, as long as you show your worth. In its mind, it mutters. Fate point, huh? Do not disappoint me, kid. In Taiduo City, inside a brightly lit social club, a low voice echoes. This round's profit is good. Increase the investment. A man with two beauties on his shoulders gives orders. Contact them. Speed up the collection. The higher-ups will not wait. A subordinate nods. Yes, boss. One more thing. In Area A, 3 collectors were injured by a student. The boss frowns, anger rising. Their collection date is not even due. Those idiots tried to grab extra profit. Because of trash like them, fewer people borrow from me. Deal with it by the rules. The subordinate hesitates. Yes, I will punish them, but this case is special. Among them were a 3rd-stage apprentice and a 2nd-stage apprentice. The one who beat them was a student who just broke through to 2nd stage. The leader's eyes turn icy. Who? He grips the file with Zhu Shen's information. Just 2nd stage? How could he defeat both 2nd and 3rd stage? Even the weakest 3rd stage can handle 10 2nd stages. Rank gaps cannot be bridged by skill alone, unless his true strength has already reached 3rd stage. The man curls his lips into an amused smile. Oh, trying to hide his strength? Interesting. He tosses the file back to his subordinate. Keep an eye on him. Talent like this must not be wasted. Under the soft light of dawn, Zhu Shen stretches his body, preparing for his morning workout. Suddenly, a middle-aged vendor notices him. Oh? Zhu Shen, up early these days? Zhu Shen smiles. Morning, uncle. The man grins. I just got a batch of A-grade cheese supplements, 400 per bottle. Want one? Zhu Shen shakes his head politely. Still have some left. I will come back after I finish them. The man nods kindly. All right, I will give you a discount. The uncle chuckles. This kid seems much happier lately. Got yourself a girlfriend? Youth really is something. While training, Zhu Shen sinks into thought. After leaving the hospital, he spent days adapting to this body and researching this world. As the memories merged, he grasped the basics. Here, people use special chi supplements to increase strength. Those who use them are called warriors. But becoming a warrior is expensive. That is why he carries massive debt. He still does not know the true limit of a warrior's power. But even the lowest rank warrior surpasses normal humans physically. No wonder everyone spends recklessly to become one. If it were the old me, how long would I need to train to reach this level? His phone suddenly rings, breaking his thoughts. Who is calling this early? The moment he answers, a loud voice shouts. Zhu Shen, get to school. I am the class monitor. Your leave is over. The teachers asked me to remind you. I called last night too. Zhu Shen quickly replies. I did not forget, I am already up. Inside, he sighs in relief, I almost forgot. At school, the teacher lectures calmly. Class, we just covered the history of warriors. Now let us discuss their role in the economy. She scans the room. A warrior's status is determined by strength and divided by titles. This world has 6 major ranks. Rank E has 6 stages, Rank D has 8, Rank C has 10, Rank B has 12, Rank A has 14, and finally Rank S. You must reach the peak of one rank to break into the next. It is said that those who reach Rank S are almost like gods. The teacher continues. To match strength levels, society is divided into 5 layers. Normal people in Rank E belong to the 5th layer, the outer layer, the lowest class. From the 4th layer upward is the inner layer, symbolizing power and authority. To enter, you must at least reach Rank D. Zhu Shen thinks quietly, I am at the lowest Rank E. If I want more resources, I must enter the inner layer. The priority now is to raise my strength fast. While thinking, a small stone suddenly hits the back of his head. Behind him, 2 boys snicker. Direct hit. The other laughs. Look, he is staring at us. So what? Just because he ranked high in the written exam? We are both first stage. I bet I can blow him up with one punch. Zhu Shen sighs and shakes his head. There are people like this everywhere. On the podium, the teacher speaks again. By the way, there will be a physical test later. Change clothes and gather at the field. Under the morning sun at Taiduo High School, Zhu Shen stretches his limbs. Being in the warrior program is nice. Half the day is just physical training. Suddenly, someone shouts, Hey Zhu Shen. Students start whispering. Look over there. Are they about to fight? Another says excitedly. Again? Those 2 never get tired. Someone laughs. Careful, you might be next. A silver-haired boy grabs Zhu Shen by the collar. Zhu Shen, you were staring just now, right? Acting cocky after a few days off? So what if you scored high on the written test? Planning to lecture your opponents to death? In this world, rank means everything, and power decides all. So in his eyes, Zhu Shen was just a first rank awakened. Zhu Shen stayed calm and shot back coldly. If that's the case, then you're first rank too. The silver-haired guy froze, his face turning red with rage. He roared and threw a punch straight at Zhu Shen's head. But before it could land, Zhu Shen casually caught his fist, eyes steady and unfazed. Zhu Shen's gaze turned sharp as he said, You said strength is everything, so does that mean I can smash your mouth right now? The silver-haired guy tried to pull back, but both his hands were locked in place, and panic hit him. He couldn't believe it. This was the same weak kid he used to bully. Just as Zhu Shen was about to strike, a terrifying pressure slammed down and froze them both in place. A loud voice echoed across the field. Who allowed you to cause trouble in my class? The one who arrived was Teacher Dian Jijia, the PE teacher, a 5th-rank powerhouse. He glared at Zhu Shen and barked, You just came back and already making trouble? Zhu Shen smiled harmlessly and replied, No, sir, we were just having a friendly exchange. Teacher Dian snorted and ordered him to let go. He then warned the class that anyone who caused trouble again would face consequences before calling everyone to assemble for the test. He reminded them they only had 3 months left before graduation, and after that came the regional exchange tournament, where good results meant glory for the school and a chance to enter top academies. Then he promoted his imported Ranka supplements for 6,000 yuan each. Some students groaned while counting their reps, clearly exhausted. Others shouted proudly as they pushed past 40 and 50. Watching the scene, Zhu Shen thought this was the so-called awakened test, not as special as he expected. While he was thinking, a clear and worried voice called out beside him. A girl ran over, breathing fast, asking Zhu Shen if he was okay after disappearing for days. Embarrassed by her own concern, she quickly explained she was just curious since graduation was so close, and Zhu Shen thanked her softly. The class monitor Liu Tiantian then asked if he bought the supplement, and Zhu Shen laughed, saying he was broke, secretly wondering if he was the only poor one here. He was about to say more when someone called Liu Tiantian away, and she hurried off after wishing him luck. On the field, Teacher Dian checked the list and announced that 25 students bought 2 pills each and 35 passed the requirement. Zhu Shen silently realized the expensive pills probably earned special favor, but with his current strength, he didn't need them. After Liu Tiantian finished, Teacher Dian called the last name, Zhu Shen. Looking at him, the teacher felt annoyed that Zhu Shen didn't buy a single bottle from him. He thought if the kid was so confident without supplements, then failing him would be a perfect warning to others. At the test area, Zhu Shen examined the pull-up bar and the special gloves prepared for the exam. The moment he grabbed the bar, a strange force surged into his palms, making his body heavier the harder he tried, and he noticed a crystal embedded in the gloves. He quickly realized the weight increase had limits, and with his current strength, he could handle it. Seeing this as a rare chance to test himself, Zhu Shen unleashed his inner power as the weight on the bar climbed to 100 kilograms. Under the blazing sun, the students stared in shock because the one taking the test was Zhu Shen, the guy no one ever noticed. Yet now he moved like a storm, blasting through nearly 100 reps with clean and powerful form, far beyond his old limit of 30, making everyone wonder if he had already reached second rank. When Zhu Shen finally landed, the field exploded with cheers as students shouted that he was strong enough for the elite class and begged to know what supplement he used. But in the corner, teacher Dian Jijia frowned deeply, unsettled by Zhu Shen's sudden breakthrough. He quickly dismissed the idea of enhancement drugs since they were too expensive, but the thought that Zhu Shen reached second rank without his supplements made his heart turn cold. A vicious glint flashed in his eyes as he muttered that anyone blocking his money-making path would learn a harsh lesson. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, a tense phone call shattered the silence as Principal Hu learned that the regional exchange would cancel the second-ranked division. The principal argued desperately about the school's limited resources, but the cold reply explained that subsidies would now go only to top-ranked schools because the government needed more elite awakened. The call ended abruptly, leaving only the harsh dial tone and the principal's trembling hand lowering the phone. He buried his face in his hands, knowing the school barely maintained second-rank standards, and with only 3 months left, finding a third-rank student felt nearly impossible without sacrificing many others. Staring at an object on his desk, Principal Hu whispered helplessly, wondering if the academy was doomed to fall under his leadership. A sudden knock interrupted his thoughts as Dian Jijia asked to come in. The teacher entered confidently with a report, claiming the students performed well and would become excellent awakened in the future. But as Principal Hu scanned the list and saw they were all merely first rank, disappointment filled his eyes until Dian Jijia mentioned there was one exception who was not suitable to be an awakened. Principal Hu's gaze sharpened as he asked who it was, sensing that a major change might be coming. Without hesitation, Dian Jijia answered, Zhu Shen. Moments later, Zhu Shen walked toward the principal's office, holding an old book, feeling uneasy as the book suddenly spoke in worry, and he could only shrug, clueless about what he had done. Zhu Shen muttered to himself, knowing the principal was strict, and being summoned like this could not mean anything good. Just as he reached for the door, a spark suddenly burst into flames in front of him. A burning sheet of paper floated in the air, glowing brightly, and the book in his hand trembled in excitement, saying it had finally appeared. The book explained this was the special wish trigger it mentioned before, and urged him to find the target nearby, warning that if he refused, he would be burned alive. Before he could react, a cold voice came from inside the office, telling him to stop standing outside and come in. Zhu Shen stepped in and greeted Principal Hu, who slowly looked up with sharp eyes and confirmed his name. The principal acknowledged his near second-rank strength, but also listed his truancy and fighting, then asked him if he knew the most important thing for an awakened. With a piercing stare, Principal Hu answered his own question in one word, money, and bluntly told Zhu Shen to give up becoming an awakened. Zhu Shen was stunned and asked if that meant he was being expelled. Principal Hu calmly nodded, explaining that training an awakened required massive resources, and with Zhu Shen's family background, quitting early would be wiser. In truth, the principal was planning to concentrate all resources on a single seed who could reach third rank before the exchange tournament, even if it meant sacrificing others. He offered to refund Zhu Shen's tuition today and told him not to come back tomorrow, then waited for his answer. At that moment, the book in Zhu Shen's arms shook violently and spoke in urgency. It said it had found the target and ordered him to bring it over immediately. Zhu Shen snapped back that he was already in trouble, but the book replied it could only take items that truly belonged to him, so he had to claim it himself. Zhu Shen realized that to repay his debt and enter the city center, he needed a D-rank status and an awakened diploma, so getting expelled was not an option. He calmed himself and calculated quickly, knowing the academy's best student had only ever reached E2, which meant someone like him could still break through further. A spark of determination ignited in his eyes as he asked the book if he could choose his own reward to complete the wish. The book froze in shock and asked if he was really sure he wanted to do that. Zhu Shen clenched his fists and said firmly that the reward he wanted was to borrow its power. The book warned him his body could barely handle its strength before and might collapse this time, but Zhu Shen insisted he could not be expelled. He said if he lost this chance, he might never enter the city center again, and the book's wish would never be fulfilled. The book fell silent for a moment, clearly hesitating. Then it clicked its tongue and agreed reluctantly, as flames burst out like fireworks in the dark. A glowing contract appeared before them, stating he could borrow the book's power anytime, but must bear all consequences, and Zhu Shen signed without hesitation. Seeing Zhu Shen standing still for so long, Principal Hu frowned and asked if he had anything else to say. Zhu Shen lifted his head and calmly requested one more level test before any final decision. The principal assumed he was grasping at his last hope, but agreed and told him to shake his hand. He expected Zhu Shen to be slightly above second rank at most, still far from enough. As their hands met, Zhu Shen tightened his grip and swore to push his limits no matter the cost. He knew this was his only chance. The moment their fingers locked, a terrifying surge of power exploded from Zhu Shen like a raging storm. Principal Hu's eyes widened in disbelief at the overwhelming force. Even the book trembled, shocked that the boy unleashed more power than it had given him. The principal quickly pulled back, stumbling as he muttered that Zhu Shen's level had suddenly jumped 4 ranks. Zhu Shen remained calm and asked what the result was. Principal Hu suddenly burst into laughter, as if seeing hope after endless darkness. He shouted excitedly for Zhu Shen to represent the school in the exchange tournament. Placing a hand on his shoulder, he explained they needed him to compete in the 4th rank division, the highest honor group. The school had ranked last for years, and without results, the Ministry of Education would cut their funding. That was why they focused resources on promising his students and misunderstood him. But Zhu Shen replied he understood. Relieved, the principal offered to waive his tuition and promised full support once he joined the elite class. He doubled Zhu Shen's weekly energy serum from 3 bottles to 6 and said the school would meet any reasonable request because the school's survival depended on his choice. Zhu Shen thought quickly, then pointed at the old wooden cabinet and asked calmly what if he wanted the black crystal on top of it. Principal Hu paused and looked at the black crystal, explaining it was a strange star crystal brought back from the middle layer by the former principal and kept as a symbol of the school's legacy. He sighed and said, if the school could not survive, then that legacy meant nothing, so if Zhu Shen could save it, the crystal was his. Zhu Shen nodded firmly and promised to give everything he had in the exchange tournament. The principal smiled, but then asked curiously how Zhu Shen's level had risen so dramatically, and Zhu Shen calmly said he had been training to hide his true strength and asked him to keep it secret. Principal Hu admired his mindset, saying concealment was an advanced skill for real combat, and assured him the secret was safe. Zhu Shen smiled faintly, feeling like the principal was convincing himself, but his own resolve only grew stronger. Suddenly, a young woman entered, and the principal ordered her to take Zhu Shen to the elite class and handle all arrangements. As they walked down the hallway, she explained the entire 2nd floor belonged to elite classes, and he only needed to complete registration. Zhu Shen asked about her relationship with the principal, and she joked they simply got along well. At that moment, Dian Jijia rushed over with a gloomy face, pretending he had tried to defend Zhu Shen but failed to stop his expulsion. The girl frowned and cut him off, saying Zhu Shen was transferring to the elite class tomorrow, not dropping out. She then told Dian Jijia that the principal was looking for him and seemed furious, making his face turn pale with dread. Back in his room, Zhu Shen collapsed onto the bed, exhausted, muttering that jumping from 2nd rank to 4th rank in 3 months sounded impossible for someone poor like him. He asked the book if there was a way to instantly level up, but it mocked him and said he must fulfill its wish first, and warned he could not rely on borrowed power for long. Zhu Shen sighed, but reminded himself at least he was not expelled and now received free energy serum. Then he remembered the debt, due in 5 days, his eyes sharpening with determination as he decided he needed to make money fast. Early the next morning, Zhu Shen stepped into the elite class for the first time. He frowned slightly and muttered, "What is this place? Why does it look like an abandoned factory?" Suddenly, a loud voice called out, "Zhu Shen, right? Over here, over here." A man waved at him nonstop. He walked over and explained that when Zhu Shen was absent at roll call, he thought the kid got lost, but since he had to manage the whole class, he could not handle everything alone. Laughing, he introduced himself as the homeroom teacher of the elite class, Mr. Zheng, and Zhu Shen felt relieved, thinking elite teachers would be strict, but this one was surprisingly friendly. Mr. Zheng smiled and said there were 3 academic teachers, but he alone handled all combat training, and with fewer students each year, the school could not afford more staff. He explained that the elite class trained in the inner area, while the outer zone had long been abandoned, and Zhu Shen quietly realized how bad the school's situation really was. Mr. Zheng patted him gently and said, "Even a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse." He assured Zhu Shen this place would not disappoint him, and as the door opened, a bright white training hall came into view. Mr. Zheng announced warmly, "Welcome Zhu Shen to the elite class." He added that everyone was currently in free training. Then he said he would take Zhu Shen to meet the others first. Zhu Shen looked around and thought, as expected of the elite class, this place felt like a high-end gym compared to the shabby yard outside. Still, something about the atmosphere felt slightly off. Mr. Zheng tapped Zhu Shen's shoulder and called out loudly for everyone to gather, saying there was a new student to introduce. He pointed at Zhu Shen and said the elite class only judged by strength. So if Zhu Shen was here, it meant he had real ability, and Zhu Shen bowed slightly and asked for everyone's guidance. From the crowd, a red-haired young man sneered and mocked. Real ability? I doubt it. He smirked and said, if Zhu Shen got in through the back door, he should just admit it, instead of lowering the elite class's standards. Mr. Zheng's face darkened as he warned Ma Wenhao to watch his words, saying Zhu Shen transferred through proper procedures, and rumors were not allowed. Ma Wenhao scoffed and said, rumor or not, one fight would prove it, then formally challenged Zhu Shen and asked if he dared to accept. The crowd immediately buzzed, whispering that a formal duel meant both sides bet their honor and fought seriously, and the loser had to accept the outcome without complaint. In the distance, 2 students stopped training, and the girl exclaimed that the new transfer student was about to fight Ma Wenhao. The male student frowned. A transfer student. Mr. Zheng reminded them that a formal duel required both sides' consent, and Zhu Shen calmly said, fine. His eyes sharpened as he added that if it was just a friendly match without risking lives, he would accept, secretly wanting to test his strength before the upcoming exchange event. In the principal's office, a call came in, asking urgently if Zhu Shen was fighting another student. The teacher on the line explained that Ma Wenhao had issued a formal challenge, and Zhu Shen had already agreed. He said the two refused to back down, and the other students were cheering wildly as someone shouted for Ma Wenhao to teach the new kid a lesson. Hearing the commotion, Principal Hu thought to himself that Zhu Shen had been training his level-hiding skill, so maybe this was a test of his progress, and he immediately ordered the arena to be prepared and approved the duel. After some preparation, both sides stepped into the arena, and Mr. Zhang explained the basic rules since this was Zhu Shen's first formal challenge. He stated that a formal duel was similar to the exchange tournament. Both fighters had to be at the same level, and cross-level fighting was not allowed, making Ma Wenhao frown when he saw Zhu Shen's displayed rank. Mr. Zhang continued that this was a friendly duel, so no attacking vital points, no killing moves. Getting hit in the face or surrendering would count as a loss, and he asked if everything was clear. Then he gave the signal to begin. The moment it started, Ma Wenhao dashed forward like lightning, aiming to end it fast. But just as his fist was about to land, Zhu Shen tilted his body and dodged calmly. He even said lightly that the guy rushed in right from the start. Frustrated by Zhu Shen's speed, Ma Wenhao launched a barrage of rapid punches. Yet, no matter how fierce the attacks were, Zhu Shen slipped through them smoothly like flowing water. Ma Wenhao cursed angrily, saying it was like chasing a slippery rat. He realized he had to lock Zhu Shen down. A cold smile formed on his lips as he mocked Zhu Shen for loving to dodge. Then he unleashed a powerful kick like thunder. The Gale Kick battle skill roared toward Zhu Shen, who blocked it head-on, while Ma Wenhao confidently believed the impact would knock him to the ground. But Zhu Shen's eyes stayed terrifyingly calm. As he fell back, he borrowed the force from the ground and gathered power through his arm. In the next instant, he sprang up and countered with a lightning-fast kick aimed at Ma Wenhao's neck. Ma Wenhao's eyes widened in shock, realizing Zhu Shen also knew battle skills. After taking the hit, he forced himself to stay calm, thinking as long as his face was untouched, he had not lost. But when he turned around, Zhu Shen's fist was already lightly pressed against his face. Zhu Shen said calmly that a hit to the face meant defeat, so technically he had won. Ma Wenhao stood there, stunned, face pale, unable to believe it. Mr. Zheng immediately raised his hand and declared that Zhu Shen was the winner. Ma Wenhao collapsed onto the arena floor, stammering that he had lost. The students below were shocked, shouting that Ma Wenhao lost too easily and that the transfer student was insanely strong. Zhu Shen stood firm in the arena, narrowing his eyes and thinking the fight ended faster than expected, but at least he now understood his strength better. Watching everything, Mr. Zhang was deeply surprised, realizing that even with professional training, Ma Wenhao had been completely overwhelmed by Zhu Shen's raw talent. From afar, a deep voice echoed across the stands praising the performance, and Zhu Shen looked over in confusion at Principal Hu. Principal Hu waved and called Zhu Shen over, saying he had something to discuss. Nearby, a blonde boy excitedly whispered that the transfer student was really strong. He even said someone like that must be recruited into their faction, while the pink-haired girl beside him rolled her eyes. As Principal Hu led Zhu Shen down the long hallway, he asked if he was getting used to the elite class, and Zhu Shen replied calmly that it was fine, just that his classmates were a bit too enthusiastic. Principal Hu laughed and said powerful people were always popular, then encouraged Zhu Shen to train well and speak up if he needed resources, while Zhu Shen quietly thought this might be the perfect chance to ask about making money. Zhu Shen looked up and asked directly if there was any fast way for a student to make money, which surprised Principal Hu. The The principal told him not to worry about money at his age and focus on training, offering school support if his family was struggling. But Zhu Shen brushed it off and felt disappointed inside. Holding his training gear, Zhu Shen thought carefully, knowing student loan debt was punished strictly, so he had to avoid getting caught. Suddenly, a guy approached him excitedly. The boy threw an arm over Zhu Shen's shoulder and praised the duel, asking who he really was, and Zhu Shen narrowed his eyes and asked who he was. A girl quickly stepped in and scolded the boy for being rude. She smiled gently at Zhu Shen, introduced herself as Su Xiaoxia, and said the guy was Shen Jiashui, assuring him they meant no harm. She added that she was technically his senior and told him to ask her anything he did not understand, and Zhu Shen thanked her politely. Shen Jiashui cleared his throat and loudly declared that from now on they were a three-man squad, and as captain he would take care of Zhu Shen, making Zhu Shen think he was weird. Shen Jiashui then asked if Zhu Shen transferred from a lower class and where he learned that battle skill, leaving Zhu Shen confused as he asked what a battle skill even was. Shen Jiashui stared at him in shock and asked if he really did not know. So what was that move that knocked down Ma Wenhao? And Zhu Shen calmly said it was pure instinct. Shen Jiashui burst out laughing and said Ma Wenhao would be furious if he knew, while Su Xiaoxia stepped in to properly explain. She said battle skills were powerful techniques mastered through manuals or memory imprints, and their strength depended on proficiency and type. She added that Ma Wenhao used a low-tier battle skill called Gale Kick, and Zhu Shen finally understood why he could not fully block it. He wondered if having a battle skill would raise his chances in the exchange tournament, and asked if they were rare. Shen Jiashui said stronger ones were rare and expensive, with even a normal low-tier skill costing around 500,000 N, making Zhu Shen realize that money could cover months of his debt. Shen Jiashui bragged that he also had a battle skill and would show it someday, and Su Xiaoxia smiled and said she had one too. Watching them, Zhu Shen sighed, thinking something worth 500,000 N seemed too common here, and the elite class must be full of rich kids. Then he thought maybe wealthy students might know ways to make money. So he carefully asked if there was any fast way to earn money without limits, except robbing a bank. Shen Jiashui lowered his voice and whispered that if there were truly no limits, only the Blackwater Zone in the Miracle Lands fit that description. Su Xiaoxia immediately scolded him, warning that students were banned from that place and would be expelled if caught, while Zhu Shen curiously repeated the name. Shen Jiashui laughed it off and said he was joking, though rumors claimed anything could happen there. He then asked how much Zhu Shen was short for the battle skill, and Zhu Shen replied, about 300,000 N. Both of them gasped in shock at the huge amount. Su Xiaoxia sighed helplessly and said she was broke too, and the two quietly left. Standing alone, Zhu Shen thought about the Blackwater Zone and decided to take the risk after school. He soon arrived at the entrance of the Blackwater Zone. His eyes moved between the scene and the map on his phone. It was not far from his house, just a few minutes by bike, and after changing out of his school uniform, he hoped no one would recognize him. He looked up and quietly asked the air what it might be like inside, but no one answered. Zhu Shen frowned slightly and wondered if that mysterious guy was not around. Then he reassured himself that the outer area users were not high level, and with his level 4 borrowed force, he could probably escape if things went wrong. The place looked completely abandoned, ruins everywhere, as if forgotten for years. He walked carefully and noticed faint traces of people leading forward. The trail ended at a crude door, and he smirked, thinking it felt like a secret tunnel. The moment he stepped inside, several shadows silently followed behind him. Their eyes gleamed with cold killing intent. As Zhu Shen moved deeper, his eyes adjusted to the dark and revealed an underground city. He gasped in shock, realizing this was the Blackwater Miracle Land. The streets were filthy. Illegal trades happened openly in broad daylight. He realized this place was beyond the law, where anything could happen for profit, and maybe he could actually find a way to make money here. Suddenly, he shut his eyes for a second and turned around sharply. His voice turned cold as he asked how long they planned to follow him. A rough laugh echoed from the shadows, praising his awareness. They admitted they planned to knock him out and drag him away anyway, so being exposed changed nothing. Zhu Shen frowned and asked why they wanted to attack him. The three men laughed and said he looked like a rich kid in disguise, and kidnapping him would bring a nice ransom. Hearing that, Zhu Shen let out a tired sigh at their logic. The leader stepped forward and slapped his cheek mockingly, saying escape was impossible and cooperation would earn him mercy. Zhu Shen's voice turned icy as he called them rude. Before the thug could react, Zhu Shen's left fist smashed into his head and sent him crashing to the ground. The two lackeys panicked, shouting that their boss had been taken down. They rushed forward to teach him a lesson. Both pulled out daggers and charged. But suddenly, 2 wooden crates flew in from nowhere. They struck the thieves square in the head and knocked them off balance. Zhu Shen was still stunned when a shadow dashed toward him. Someone grabbed his hand tightly. A firm female voice ordered him to follow her. Before he understood what was happening, he was dragged away into the darkness. They stopped in a hidden corner, and the girl sighed in relief, saying it should be safe now. Zhu Shen caught his breath and thanked her, though he regretted losing the chance to question those men. The girl suddenly asked if he was Zhu Shen and why he was here. Seeing his surprised look, she bit her lip, realizing she almost exposed herself, and he asked how she knew his name. She quickly lied that she saw it written on his collar. Zhu Shen checked the name tag on his shirt and realized he forgot it was there. He felt relieved she did not recognize him, while she also silently thanked herself for covering up. She warned him not to reveal personal information in the Blackwater Zone and offered to escort him out, but he refused and said he still had urgent matters. Inside, he only thought that if she found out he was a student, he would be in serious trouble. Watching him leave, the girl wondered if he truly did not remember her and why a student like him was involved here. She also sensed that he had already become a borrowed force user. At a nearby stall, Zhu Shen bought a 10 yuan mask and put it on. He thought the mask made him safer, but after wandering for a long time, he still found no way to make money. Suddenly, a middle-aged man approached him and warmly guessed he was not a local. Zhu Shen stayed cautious and asked who he was, and the man laughed, calling himself a guide who knew everything here. Zhu Shen's eyes lit up as he directly asked where he could make fast money. The man smiled even wider and told him to follow, secretly thrilled about the guide fee he might earn. They stopped beneath a pedestrian staircase. The sound of fists colliding echoed loudly. An underground arena appeared, where borrowed force users and normal people fought fiercely while the crowd roared. Watching from above, Zhu Shen asked if this was an illegal boxing ring, and the man nodded, saying this was the perfect place for quick cash. He explained that tonight's special match offered prize money and a share of betting profits, and many borrowed force fighters joined just for this. Zhu Shen observed the fighter on stage and realized he only looked scary, but was merely level 1. Maybe this was his chance. When the man offered to exchange chips for him, Zhu Shen firmly refused, saying he would win the prize directly. The man's face changed slightly in shock. Nearby, the girl from earlier appeared quietly, confused about why Zhu Shen was here as cheers suddenly exploded from the arena. She looked toward the stage and froze when she recognized him. On stage, a fierce-looking man named Joff bragged that he would win the championship. Before he finished boasting, Zhu Shen rushed forward and knocked him out with a thunderous punch. The crowd buzzed, saying another on-punch victory was getting boring. Zhu Shen thought to himself to end fights quickly. The next fighter stepped up and tried to introduce himself, but Zhu Shen knocked him out before he could finish. Another opponent panicked and tried to surrender, yet he was also taken down instantly. In the control room, the manager cursed angrily, realizing this weak-looking kid had ruined everything. A subordinate rushed in to report that contracted fighters were running away and customers were demanding refunds. The manager growled that the arena would collapse at this rate and ordered one more match with their trump card. Back on stage, after Zhu Shen knocked down another opponent, the host refused to announce his victory. Instead, the host hyped the crowd and declared an extra thrilling match, while Zhu Shen frowned and reminded them the prize should already be his. The host ignored him, and Zhu Shen realized they never intended to pay him easily. Suddenly, a giant iron cage was pushed onto the stage as the host introduced a mysterious ace fighter. Zhu Shen's eyes widened. As the smoke cleared, a massive chained figure appeared, introduced as the humanoid weapon Nevron. When the smoke fully faded, a terrifying mutant monster stood revealed. Once its chains were released, it collapsed briefly to the floor. Zhu Shen muttered in shock, wondering what was going on. Suddenly, white smoke burst from the back of the monster's neck, and a strange object shot out. The creature slowly stood up, showing rows of sharp teeth as it let out a deafening roar. The audience trembled, some pretending to act brave while secretly terrified. From afar, the girl frowned, wondering why such a creature appeared here. At Zhu Shen's current rank, there's no way he can handle this thing, and she could save him, but doing that would expose her identity and ruin her entire plan. She bites her lip, clearly torn. On the arena floor, Zhu Shen curses under his breath, annoyed that his backup isn't here, and he can already tell this opponent is nothing like the others. This thing is not human. The monster's glowing red eyes lock onto him, like a hunter sizing up prey, and the killing intent alone makes his skin crawl. Suddenly, the creature's middle finger lights up with a strange glow. In a blink, it dashes forward, its sharp claw slicing toward Zhu Shen's throat. He twists to dodge, but blood still drips down as his heart pounds. That attack was insanely fast, and would've killed him if he reacted a second slower. This thing is really trying to kill him, so he can't hold back anymore. The two clash head-on, locking into close combat as claws tear through the air with a sharp whistle. Zhu Shen can't match the monster's raw strength and gets blasted backward. It's way too strong, way too dangerous. He has to end this fast. So he calls on the contract with the evil god, mutters borrow power, and his strength explodes from E2 straight to E4. Power surges through him as he throws a heavy punch that forces the monster back. Clasping his hands together, Zhu Shen charges and slams down like a falling spear. The monster crashes to the floor, and for a moment, Zhu Shen wonders if it's finally over. But suddenly it springs back up and slashes hard at his arm. Zhu Shen stumbles back in shock. His strongest blow barely did anything, and with its thick hide and blade-like claws, close combat clearly favors the monster. He mutters that he needs a weapon. The monster doesn't slow down, its glowing finger flashing again, as it lunges like a stabbing blade. Zhu Shen sidesteps smoothly, thinking he has his weapon now, and throws a precise punch that snaps the creature's finger. He grabs it instantly, spins around, and slashes hard at the back of its neck. The monster howls as blood sprays from its throat. Zhu Shen clicks his tongue. The cut wasn't deep enough, but at least it's injured, and with borrowed power, he can tell Hes stronger now and just needs one more close push. After getting hit, the monster suddenly spews out a strange mist. Zhu Shen flinches, thinking it's poison, but it's just dense fog that blocks his vision completely. His instincts scream that something bad is coming. He raises the sharp finger he stole and blocks a sudden strike from the dark. Even with quick reflexes, he can't see where the monster is hiding. As he waves away the fog, a claw slashes across his back. He retreats, sweat running down his temple, realizing the monster is stalling and draining him, instead of attacking head-on. Zhu Shen understands that once the borrowed power runs out, he's finished, so he can't drag this out any longer. He takes a deep breath and forces himself to calm down. Using every sense he has, he focuses with everything Hes got. Through the fog, the monster's figure flickers like a ghost. Without hesitation, Zhu Shen thrusts forward, his blade piercing straight through the mist. The creature freezes in shock as Zhu Shen grabs hold of its body. With a brutal yank, he rips its arm clean off, and its scream echoes across the arena. Zhu Shen smirks, knowing this is his chance, and gathers power for the final blow. But suddenly, his heart tightens violently. Pain spreads through his body, and he realizes Hes reached his limit. The monster still refuses to fall, lunging again with its sharp claw as Zhu Shen grits his teeth and refuses to lose. It opens its mouth wide, and a blade-like tongue shoots out toward him. He can't dodge in time and gets stabbed through the waist as blood pours out. Furious, he roars that it's not over and once again whispers, "Borrow power." Strength surges back as Zhu Shen grabs the tongue impaled in his body. He twists hard, dragging the monster off balance. Charging forward, he clamps down on its jaws, eyes burning with rage. He screams for it to die. Pouring everything into one last strike, he tears the monster apart, blood splattering everywhere and staining the arena red. Inside the control room, the boss grows anxious at the silence and hurriedly asks his subordinate what's going on, but the guard can only answer that they can't see anything. "Boss, the smoke's clearing," the guard reports nervously, and the gambling hall owner panics, asking if the kid is dead yet. But the moment he sees the arena clearly, his face turns pale. The match is already over. The mysterious girl is stunned with joy, unable to believe it. As the crowd erupts, some cheering wildly while others curse their losses, and she whispers in awe that he really did it. Nevron is completely finished, lying flat on the ground in a pool of blood. Zhu Cheng stands tall, cold aura radiating from his body as his sharp eyes sweep across the guards. Under that killing gaze, every single one of them trembles. In the control room, the guards stare at their boss as he slumps into his chair, horror and rage twisting across his face. He mutters in disbelief, saying he spent a fortune to buy that monster from the Central District, and now it's gone. The loudspeaker suddenly announces Zhu Cheng as the champion, and tells him to follow staff to claim his reward, and he wonders if it's finally over. Backstage, a suitcase filled with large bills is opened. A guard confirms the total prize is 510,000. Zhu Cheng calmly says there's no problem. But just as he reaches for the suitcase, a rough hand slams it shut. The gambling hall owner stands up, showing his true colors, saying he changed his mind. He offers Zhu Cheng 500,000 if he signs and fights under his control, or only 110,000 if he leaves right now. Zhu Cheng narrows his eyes and coldly asks what he means. The owner shamelessly claims Zhu Cheng killed his main fighter and must compensate him for breaking the contract. Zhu Cheng shoots back that there was never any extra round agreed on. He reminds him that once on stage, killing or being killed carries no responsibility. His sharp logic leaves the owner speechless, but Zhu Cheng demands the full 510,000 without missing a single cent. Furious, the owner pulls a gun and points it at him, but Zhu Cheng calmly grabs the gun and crushes it in his bare hand. The owner screams in pain as his hand is twisted, then orders his men to kill Zhu Cheng. The guards all raise their guns, and Zhu Cheng lets out a cold sigh. Gunshots explode along with screams, echoing through the building. The remaining spectators panic, whispering about gunfire, while the mysterious girl watches anxiously. Suddenly, a guard is thrown from an upper floor and crashes down. The crowd gathers in shock, wondering what's going on. The mysterious girl narrows her eyes, realizing something. Upstairs, Zhu Cheng knocks out another guard with a heavy punch and grabs the suitcase. One more guard fires at him, but Zhu Cheng counters instantly. He smashes the man through a curtain and leaps onto the railing without looking back. The owner screams from above, ordering his men to block every alley and exit. Zhu Cheng runs while gasping, his heart aching from overusing his power. His injuries are getting worse, and if this continues, his body might collapse at any moment. Out of nowhere, a hand yanked him into a dark alley. The mysterious girl covered his mouth as guards rushed past shouting, "Not here, check the back door." Only when everything went silent did she let go and whisper, "It's safe now." As Zhu Cheng tried to speak, she stopped him and said she knew a secret exit. "Go straight and you'll be out. Leave before they seal the area." Zhu Cheng followed, but before he could say anything, she urged him to hurry. He pulled off his mask, revealed his face, and simply said, "Thank you." After he left, she activated her earpiece, and the voice on the other end called her Lin N, asking why she went to Blackwater District. Suddenly, Zhu Cheng crashed through a window into an empty room and collapsed. Clutching his chest in pain, he gasped, "Damn it, my heart." His face turned pale, his breathing faded, and he lost consciousness. In his dream, his mother gently confessed she only had 2 or 3 years left to live and apologized for lying to him. Zhu Cheng jolted awake, tears streaming down his face. He panted heavily, drenched in sweat. Looking around the room, he muttered, "I'm still alive." He realized the dream had dragged him back from the edge after a long time in darkness. A sudden voice startled him, "You're finally awake." It was his boss, the Golden Finger, scolding him for overusing its power and nearly killing himself. Zhu Cheng calmly argued he had no choice. The Golden Finger warned him that reviving him once had already drained most of its strength. Then it asked about the strange creature he described, something half-human with claws and smoke. Zhu Cheng shrugged and said he never wanted to step into a hellhole like that again. But he quickly pushed the thought aside and reminded himself to focus on leveling up. He opened the suitcase, revealing stacks of cash, and almost cried in relief. Hugging the case, he grinned, saying the 500,000 would cover him through the exchange tournament so he could train without worry. After depositing the money at the bank, Zhu Cheng rushed to Tianlan Hospital. The doctor checked his wound and said it looked serious but wasn't life-threatening. Surprised by his recovery speed, the doctor guessed he was a transcender, and Zhu Cheng admitted it. The doctor even tried to sell him a special medical package, but Zhu Cheng refused and only asked for regular medicine. Relieved the monster's tongue wasn't poisonous, he suddenly felt a strange itch in his eyes. When the doctor handed him the medicine, Zhu Cheng noticed it glowing faintly. He asked about the light, but the doctor said there was nothing unusual. Holding the glowing bottle, Zhu Cheng realized he was the only one who could see it. The doctor joked that maybe stress was causing hallucinations, and even recommended psychological counseling. But Zhu Cheng soon noticed every bottle on the shelf was glowing. Even the people around him were giving off a faint light, including himself. He quickly connected it to spiritual energy, the key difference between normal people and transcenders. If this light was spiritual energy, then sensing it could change everything. Leveling up depended on absorbing spiritual energy, so this ability might make it far easier. Just then, a young man wrapped in green energy walked past him. The man felt the gaze and frowned, wondering who was observing him. Through his earpiece, someone reminded him their mission was to find the foreign star. The young man casually replied that he planned to stay longer and even visit their little princess. This man was Amya, an A-rank transcender, confident he could destroy the foreign star if it became a threat. The next morning at Lida Special Academy, Hu Wei sat with a serious expression. He confronted Zhu Cheng about skipping class, ignoring calls, and disappearing for days. Zhu Cheng apologized sincerely, claiming family matters and accepting any punishment. Hu Wei clarified he was more worried about Zhu Cheng's safety than discipline. He reminded him the academy existed to nurture outstanding transcenders and would always support him. Moved by his sincerity, Zhu Cheng promised to fight with everything he had for the upcoming exchange tournament. Hu Wei smiled in satisfaction as the conversation shifted direction. Hu Wei told him to return to class, saying his friends had even come to the office asking about him. The moment Zhu Cheng stepped in, the classroom exploded with noise, everyone asking where he had been. Jiaxi suddenly remembered and said they had gathered 300,000 for the combat skill he mentioned. Zhu Cheng froze, touched by how seriously they took his casual words. He gently pushed the card back and said he decided that skill wasn't worth the price. Just then, someone called out, offering 50,000 and apologizing for losing before. Zhu Cheng panicked and waved his hands, saying there was no need to repay him like that. Xiao Xia snapped at the guy, asking if he had some hidden motive. The boy admitted he once thought Zhu Cheng got in through connections, but now truly respected him. After a brief whisper, Xiao Xia asked if Zhu Cheng wanted him to join the team. Zhu Cheng scratched his head and said he had no objections, so they welcomed the new fourth member. The room instantly turned chaotic with jokes and playful arguments. Watching them, Zhu Cheng smiled softly, grateful he was still alive to see this. Later at the gym, he ran on the treadmill while thinking about leveling up. Absorbing spiritual energy was simple in theory, but his absorption rate was painfully low. If he didn't improve it, reaching level 4 before the tournament would be impossible. Jiaxi suddenly suggested they spar to make training less boring. Zhu Cheng's eyes lit up as he remembered he awakened his perception ability during intense battle. He proposed an idea, and soon they moved to another training ground under bright lights. Xiao Xia and Jiaxi launched fierce attacks, shouting their techniques as they charged. Surrounded by both of them, Zhu Cheng dodged smoothly and reminded them to coordinate better. After nearly an hour, he finally told them to rest. They collapsed in exhaustion, shocked that at first they couldn't even touch his sleeve. He stops caring about winning or losing and just throws himself into the fight, even pulling off moves he never dared to try before. After sparring with two guys, Zhu Cheng turns aside as Wen Hao cracks his knuckles, grinning, saying he can't wait anymore. Watching his sweat-soaked friends, Zhu Cheng realizes in these all-out battles, their energy absorption rate skyrockets. Their foundations are solid, and if the absorption rate stays high, leveling up is only a matter of time. Normal energy potions are too diluted, and with average physiques, even thousands of bottles won't push you up a single level. But the energy he borrows through force manipulation is 100 times more concentrated than any supplement. With his current strength, absorbing it all at once would make his body explode on the spot. So he carefully suppresses the flow, trying to keep only the amount he can safely handle. Suddenly, a terrifying surge of power erupts from Zhu Cheng's body. He steadies his breathing, shocked at how massive the borrowed energy truly is. A blazing energy sphere forms in front of his chest as sweat pours down like rain. Even a tiny portion already floods his body in an instant. If this keeps going, he'll explode, so he forces the excess energy out. A blinding burst of light explodes outward, forcing everyone to stagger back in shock. An earthquake? They shout, unable to believe what just happened. It's Zhu Cheng. Why did his energy suddenly become so insane? The golden hand suddenly appears from the void, panicking as it senses a strange energy source. Did you just absorb my energy? It demands. Zhu Cheng opens his palm, eyes shining, and calmly admits he tried controlling the amount it lent him. The golden hand mutters in disbelief, wondering how he absorbed its power without dying. Could he really be my destined one? It whispers under its breath. Zhu Cheng blinks innocently, asking what it just said. The golden hand brushes it off, saying nothing matters as long as He's alive. Teacher Zhang rushes in, alarmed, asking what just happened and if everyone is okay. The others quickly explain that Zhu Cheng suddenly exploded with power after sparring. Teacher Zhang scans the room, sensing the overwhelming energy and stammers in disbelief as he checks the device. On a bright morning, May 12, 2026, the countdown shows 55 days until the exchange battle. Zhu Cheng keeps running every day, pushing his body non-stop, and by May 17th, he and his team dive into endless sparring matches. Every punch thrown and every drop of sweat marks their rapid growth. Then September 1st, 2026 arrives, and the countdown hits 0. At the arena, someone gasps at the massive crowd filling every seat. Xiao Xia looks around excitedly, saying she can't believe she's really standing on this stage. Jiaxi rubs his hands eagerly, saying this year's tournament has more participants than ever. Wen Hao nudges Zhu Cheng and asks if He's ready for a level 4 battle, since it's on a completely different scale from level 3. Zhu Cheng smiles and tells him not to worry, reminding him the principal said just participating is enough. If things get dangerous, he'll forfeit without hesitation. Since level 3 and level 4 rest areas are separated, they have to split up here. His friends promise to cheer for him if they finish early, and Zhu Cheng nods, saying hell cheer for them too. Watching their backs as they leave, he takes a deep breath and mutters that it's finally time. In the VIP section, Hu Wei looks around in awe, saying it's his first time sitting here. Principal Yun Xiangyu chats with Wang Mingyuan, who congratulates them for producing both a level 3 and level 4 fighter so quickly. They mention that after the new rule changes, the central authority will increase subsidies for winning schools, making the competition even more brutal. Suddenly, a mocking voice sneers that some country bumpkins must be here for the first time. Hu Wei bristles, but Wang Mingyuan warns him that these are principals from past champion schools. The man taunting them is Li Kuo, principal of the reigning champion school. Hu Wei sits down angrily, while teacher Zhang quietly worries if their students can handle such a high-level tournament. Hu Wei asks him how he truly sees their students. Teacher Zhang admits they are talented, especially Zhu Cheng, whose gift rivals those elite academy geniuses boosted by drugs. Tian Tian felt down, thinking ever since Zhu Cheng moved to the elite class, she hadn't seen him once, and now that he even represents the school in the level 4 tournament, he probably wouldn't bother with someone from a regular class like her. Lost in thought, Tian Tian missed a step and stumbled forward. Suddenly, a strong arm caught her, and Zhu Cheng smiled gently, asking if the class monitor was okay, making Tian Tian blush as she stammered her thanks and asked why he was here. He rubbed her head with a grin and said he just happened to pass by and wanted to say hi, and once she calmed down, Tian Tian shyly admitted she thought he wouldn't want to be friends anymore after joining the elite class. Zhu Cheng looked at her in confusion and said, "A friend is still a friend. Status doesn't change that." And hearing this made Tian Tian's heart warm because he was still the same Zhu Cheng as before. Just then, the loudspeaker boomed, calling all contestants to the stage. The crowd instantly buzzed as Zhu Cheng confidently stepped onto the brightly lit arena, and Tian Tian whispered that he was finally on stage. A male MC's passionate voice echoed across the stadium, greeting the honored guests, teachers, and students. He welcomed everyone to the Inter-District Exchange Tournament and announced that he and his partner, Lillian, would be hosting. The moment Lillian's name was mentioned, the entire audience gasped in shock. People shouted in disbelief that the top idol Lillian was really here, and even without her idol outfit, she looked adorable, until she gently raised a hand and asked everyone to quiet down. Smiling sweetly, Lillian said that today she wasn't idol Lillian, but hard-working host Lillian, and the real stars were the contestants, before moving on to explain the rules. She announced that 12 academies joined with 4 representatives each, 16 in level 4 and 32 in level 3, but Today's arena was only for level 4, as the giant LED screen displayed brackets and scores, while she explained that both levels' results would convert into points for final ranking, and each match would be won and known with the winner advancing. Winners would keep facing other winners until a champion was decided. Matches were now limited to 30 minutes instead of unlimited time, ending when one side lost combat ability or surrendered, and she excitedly hoped everyone would show their true strength. Although the rules were harsher this year, she told everyone not to worry and pointed ahead, making the crowd cry out in shock when they recognized Bai Le. It was really Bai Le, the Shrank Spirit Master, someone most had only seen on TV, and as he casually waved his hand, the ground began to tremble violently. The contestants on stage panicked as the arena shook, while the MC shouted in excitement that the Master's single move had turned heaven and earth upside down. He explained this was a special arena prepared by Bai Le, protected by a barrier he personally set so the audience wouldn't be affected, and any damage would be instantly repaired, while the gem each contestant carried would confirm identity and protect them in life-or-death moments. The two fighters whispered in shock that a single wave of his hand changed the terrain completely. This was the power of strength, and even Zhu Cheng silently admitted that such strength truly felt godlike. It was terrifying beyond words, yet he acted like it was nothing, and somehow my tension faded away. Up on the command platform, Lillian excitedly announced that match results would be sent directly to each contestant's gem. She then declared the Inter-District Spirit Master Tournament officially open, starting with the round of 16. First match, Wang Lu from Xi'an Spirit Academy versus Xiao Ran from Lanji Spirit Academy. The male MC watched closely and said the battle turned intense right from the start. Xiao Ran unleashed a flashy ultimate move like a heavy cannon and ended the fight in just 17 minutes. As the VIP rooms, Hu Wei sipped tea and noted in surprise that the organizers even invited an Shrank Master this year. Wang Mingyuan stood beside him with hands behind his back and explained that the gap between level 4 and level 3 was huge. He said level 4 fighters could fully unleash combat skills, and rich academies could easily afford crank skills and top-tier potions to secure first place again and again. No wonder they looked so relaxed, and as two men flattered him, Wang Mingyuan stroked his beard and said, "This year might be different." Meanwhile, the MC announced Match 5, Lan Qin from Yunhu Academy versus Li Ze from Tianyuan Academy, calling it another thrilling showdown as Lan Qin moved like a ghost to dodge fierce attacks. She kept evading without striking, leaving the MC wondering how she would win, until Lan Qin coldly glared at Li Ze and said her warm-up was over. Instantly, strange purple lights burst out and bound Li Ze's limbs tightly. The MC exclaimed that it was a special ability combat skill, and Lan Qin was the first in E-Cup history to wield such a power, while Li Ze gritted his teeth and struggled before finally giving up. Seeing this, the MC commented that the ability clearly carried overwhelming pressure. Lan Qin then dashed forward like lightning and calmly said, "Move aside," finishing the fight in just 5 minutes, as the crowd roared that this felt like magic and completely unstoppable. The MC shouted into the mic that the audience was on fire and wondered if this year would witness a shocking change in champion, while Hu Wei gasped that special abilities were extremely rare and usually awakened only by D rank and above. Wang Mingyuan smirked proudly and said Lan Qin was a rare early awakener, 1 in 10,000, while OU nearby frowned and dismissed it as just early potential awakening. Wang Mingyuan mocked him, asking why he once tried to spend heavily to recruit Lan Qin if it was nothing special. Exposed, Ao Yu snapped angrily before Li coldly interrupted, saying it was merely early awakening and nothing more. The MC then moved on to announce Match 6, Wang Zhuo from Shiguang Academy versus his opponent. Suddenly, what just happened? In only 5 seconds, Wang Zhuo knocked his opponent down the instant he tried to charge. This was the terrifying strength of Shiguang Academy, the 3-time defending champion. The audience exploded in shock, saying only Shiguang Academy could dominate like this, and on stage Wang Zhuo arrogantly waved his hand and said this tournament was already boring. In the VIP room, Yu slammed his fist on the table and shouted that a student personally trained by Principal Li Pei was truly on another level. Li stroked his beard smugly and mocked that the louder the dog barked, the more it liked to think it was strong. Wang Mingyuan frowned and shot back to just wait and see, while Hu Wei silently observed. He thought this battle was completely out of their league. For Lide Academy, just qualifying was already a win, and if Zhu Cheng could win even one match or simply stand out, that would be enough. Down below, the MC announced that the 7th match went to a contestant from Shuangmen Academy after 20 minutes and told everyone to take a short break before the final match of the round. Hearing this, Zhu Cheng stood up in the waiting area to stretch, surprised he was last, while the golden finger in his mind asked why he didn't just borrow power and end it quickly. Zhu Cheng replied that students at this stage were only level 4 at most, and if he suddenly jumped to level 5, it would attract attention and cause trouble, just as Lan Qin walked over saying he was unlucky to be in the last match. Seeing his confusion, Lan Qin crossed her arms and reminded him his opponent was Lei Che from Changshan Academy. She warned that Lei Che was one of the top favorites for the championship, famous for his thunderclap burst strike, a move so strong even durable beginners could barely withstand it. Zhu Cheng curiously asked if using such a powerful skill in this level of competition was allowed, and Lan Qin replied sarcastically that the gem could block one fatal blow, but the pain would still be unbearable. She added that her principal and his were friends, so she considered herself his temporary ally. Their shared goal was to take first place from those arrogant elites, though she admitted if his opponent was Lei Che, all she hoped was that Zhu Cheng could drain as much of Lei Che's stamina as possible. Watching her leave, Zhu Cheng scratched his head and wondered if Lei Che was really that overwhelming. Minutes later, he stepped calmly onto the brightly lit arena. The MC shouted excitedly that the final match of the round was about to begin, and the crowd erupted in cheers. The atmosphere reached its peak as everyone buzzed that the last match was finally here. Hearing the roaring welcome, Zhu Cheng muttered that he didn't expect such a warm reception. But in the next second, the MC loudly announced another name, Lei Che, and Zhu Cheng realized the cheers were not for him at all. A violent shockwave erupted behind him, shaking the entire arena as the audience leapt to their feet in excitement. Lei Che landed in the center of the stage through clouds of dust in an unbelievably cool pose. Feeling the overwhelming aura behind him, Zhu Cheng slowly turned around. The MC continued shouting that the final battle featured Lei Che from Changshan Academy. He announced that Lei Che became a spirit master at 12 and reached level 4 in just 4 years, earning countless offers and invitations, truly deserving the title of genius of this era, as the crowd chanted his name again and again. Up in the stands, someone clasped their hands nervously. The other side even had a whole fan club backing them, while no one was cheering for Zhu Cheng. A girl in the upper row heard Tian Tian mumbling and scoffed, saying that was only natural. Lei Ji was handsome and powerful. It would be weird if he did not have fans, and that shabby-looking opponent clearly had a bad attitude. So who would like someone like that? Tian shot up angrily and yelled, "Who said Zhu Cheng has no fans? I am his #1 fan. He is gentle and strong." That girl instantly snapped and pointed at her. "What did you say? How dare you badmouth our Lei Ji?" Liu Tian fired back, saying she judged Zhu Cheng by looks first, and the two girls glared like sworn enemies, screaming their idols' names at full volume. "Lei Ji, let's go. Zhu Cheng, let's go." Two boys nearby quietly slid their chairs away in panic, whispering that it was the first time they had seen the class monitor that fierce. Down on the arena floor, the male MC was still hyped. The cheers just would not stop. Everyone was waiting to see what insane moves this genius would pull off, and whether he could shake Guang Yu, who had topped the rankings for years. And just as he declared the match would begin, Lillian leaned in and reminded him there was still one player not introduced. The MC smacked his forehead and apologized, then introduced the opponent of Lei Ji, Zhu Cheng from Lai Yu, whose previous achievements were none. His specialties were none, and as for the school's history, it turned out this was their very first time participating. Standing there listening, Zhu Cheng's face turned pale as he sighed, thinking he should have at least bought one basic combat course to write on his profile. The crowd started whispering that it was just a rookie school probably pouring all resources into one level 4, leaving nothing else, basically just target practice for Lei Ji. In the VIP room, Yu burst out laughing, saying they ran into Lei Ji from his school on their very first outing. He mocked them for packing their bags and going home empty-handed, while Hu Wei rubbed her forehead in a headache and Wang Mingyuan patted her shoulder, telling her not to mind him. On the stage, Lei Ji scratched his neck and sighed, asking if Zhu Cheng's school was really joining the exchange tournament for the first time. He said it must have been hard to reach level 4, only to meet a wall like him in the opening match, but as a genius he carried expectations and could not hold back. Zhu Cheng crossed his arms calmly and refused the pity, saying they should just fight normally, and in the next second, Lei Ji dashed forward like the wind and closed the distance. Lei Ji tapped his shoulder and smugly said he would only use 1/10 of his power so Zhu Cheng could at least lose with some dignity, but Zhu Cheng brushed his hand away and repeated that they should fight for real, as the MC rushed to comment on the sudden clash. What just happened? In the blink of an eye, Lei Ji appeared right beside Zhu Cheng. Then he instantly pulled back, and as the signal rang out, he shot forward like lightning and threw a straight punch at Zhu Cheng's face. At the same time, his movement split into multiple afterimages that surrounded Zhu Cheng from every direction. The MC screamed in shock. What kind of combat skill is this? Lei Ji seemed to split into 2, no 3, even more, like a whole army attacking at once. Was it just insane speed creating afterimages? Right from the first match, Lei Ji showed terrifying agility, making this year's title race look intense. Lan Chen stood with arms crossed, muttering that Lei Ji was truly a tough opponent. In the VIP room, Yu stroked his chin proudly, saying Lei Ji's strength went far beyond this. He claimed he had spent huge effort recruiting such a genius, and that no one at the same level could match him. Down on the arena, Lei Ji kept darting around and mocked Zhu Cheng for standing still, saying he could not even keep up with 1/10 of his speed. Just as Lei Ji prepared his finishing move, Zhu Cheng suddenly spoke calmly, not jumping anymore. Lei Ji froze in confusion, and in that split second, Zhu Cheng raised his fist and smashed it straight into his face. On the commentary stage, Lillian and the MC were completely stunned. Lan Chen dropped her popcorn, and Wang Jiaoxia leaned forward with a serious look. Even Liu Tian and the girl in blue who were arguing earlier stared in shock. The arrogant Lei Ji took the full punch, spat out a few front teeth, and collapsed unconscious on the spot. The MC grabbed the mic in panic. What just happened? Zhu Cheng only threw one seemingly simple punch, yet it shattered all of Lei Ji's flashy techniques, and with Lei Ji's speed, dodging that counter should have been easy. The fangirls erupted in protest, accusing Zhu Cheng of cheating, while Zhu Cheng scratched his chin and thought he just attacked, because Lei Ji would not stop talking. In the VIP room, Wang Mingyuan praised the punch, but Yu turned red with rage, insisting no one at level 4 was faster than Lei Ji. Hu Wei calmly sipped her tea and asked whether Yu really thought the officials would fail to notice if someone was hired to fight in his place. Yu gritted his teeth, but an elder shut them down, saying the match was not over yet. Suddenly, from the arena floor, Lei Ji forced himself up and shouted that he had not lost. The MC quickly corrected himself, announcing that Lei Ji was back on his feet. Lei Ji staggered back to his feet, wiped the blood from his mouth, and the match resumed. He stared at Zhu Cheng and admitted he underestimated him by using only 1/10 of his power. He spread his arms and roared that his lightning power could no longer be contained. Blinding pillars of lightning tore through the air and crashed down around Zhu Cheng. More bolts followed, sealing off every escape route as the MC shouted in excitement. He said Lei Ji was using the arena barrier to accelerate and was about to unleash his signature move. Lei Ji turned into a streak of lightning and roared out his ultimate attack. But just as he charged in with thunderous force, Zhu Cheng casually threw a clean, straight punch to his face. Lei Ji was blasted dozens of meters away and slid across the floor. Zhu Cheng clicked his tongue and said Lei Ji should have attacked earlier before he got used to the speed. The MC cried out that Lei Ji had been sent flying again, and his combat crystal had turned red. That meant total loss of fighting ability, and the final match of Group B Round 1 ended with Zhu Cheng's victory. Zhu Cheng clenched his fist and thought he almost failed to hold back, but the life protection crystal should keep Lei Ji alive. The audience buzzed in shock, saying it was too fast, and they could not even see the movement. The top 8 rankings flashed on the big screen with names like Liu Yue, Zhao Qingyun, Lan Chen, Teng Ming, Wang Xiaoxia, Xiao Nian, and Zhu Cheng advancing. Some viewers dismissed Zhu Cheng's win as luck and said he probably did not go all out. Wang Xiaoxia overheard them, stopped walking, and shot them a cold glare that instantly shut them up. The fourth quarterfinal was Zhu Cheng versus Xiao Ran. The MC praised Xiao Ran's fierce boxing, but Zhu Cheng dodged like he had already predicted every strike. In the end, Zhu Cheng won again with overwhelming speed. In a glass room, 2 men in suits discussed that Zhu Cheng had not used a single combat technique so far. They suspected he was either hiding a higher level or using forbidden drugs, which would be a serious rule violation, so they ordered an immediate inspection. Meanwhile, the MC announced the first semifinal, Zhu Cheng versus Liu Yue. Suddenly, men in black entered the arena, causing the crowd to panic. A stern man handed Zhu Cheng a device and ordered him to wear it and release his spirit pressure once. The audience whispered that these were special envoys from the mid-city responsible for measuring cultivator levels. Zhu Cheng calmly put on the device and thought he might have gone a bit too far and should restrain himself more in the future. The device screen flashed and displayed, name Zhu Cheng, Academy Lai to you, rank E4. The man reported through his radio that the level check was accurate and no banned substances were detected. The MC announced loudly that the special envoy had confirmed Zhu Cheng was truly E4, and the semifinal would now begin. The crowd froze for a few seconds, then exploded in disbelief that he beat all those strong opponents at only level 4. Semifinal 1, Liu Yu from Shiguangyu versus Zhu Cheng from Lai Yu. Liu Yue felt cold sweat run down his back, wondering if this kid was really that terrifying. The next second, the MC shouted again. Another instant knockout. Liu Ye was defeated in 1 strike. Li Lian waved her arms excitedly and cheered for Zhu Cheng. Wang Mingyuan wiped sweat from his forehead, while Hu Wei could only laugh awkwardly. 2 unfamiliar men approached Hu Wei and congratulated him on producing such a rare talent. The crowd quickly changed attitude and flattered Hu Wei, while Yu and Li Gua looked extremely displeased. Hu Wei stroked his beard proudly, thinking that reaching the finals on their first attempt was beyond expectations. Semifinal 2, Wang Xiaoxia from Shiguangyu versus Lan Chen from Yunhuyu. Lan Chen stepped onto the stage full of determination, but froze when she saw Wang Xiaoxia's overwhelming killing aura. As the match began, 2 girls in the stands screamed their support. Wang Xiaoxia shot them a cold glare, clearly distracted for a split second. Lan Chen's eyes sharpened as she seized the opportunity. She stomped forward and unleashed her combat skill, Flowing Cloud Palm. The strike landed directly on Wang Xiaoxia, yet he stood there unmoved like stone. His eyes turned blood red as he stared at her like a predator. Lan Chen's face went pale as she realized her attack did nothing. Wang Xiaoxia suddenly grabbed her wrist and asked coldly if she was done. She struggled and snapped back that it was none of his business. He twisted her arm and smirked, saying he just found it funny. In pain and furious, Lan Chen gathered power for another fierce strike. Seeing through her plan, Wang Xiaoxia released a strange purple energy that wrapped around his body. Lan Chen spun and used wind sickle kick, believing it would finish him. She stepped back, holding her bruised arm, convinced all her attacks had landed. But the dust cleared, and Wang Xiaoxia stood behind her completely unharmed. He mocked her softly, and she panicked, wondering when he moved. Before she could react, Wang Xiaoxia unleashed his blood surge technique in a brutal counter. With 1 heavy punch, he blasted Lan Chen over 10 meters away. He slowly walked toward her as she lay barely conscious. The audience buzzed non-stop, admitting both sides were strong, and this semi-final was on another level. The arena was completely wrecked, yet Wang Xiaoxia stood there without a scratch, like a monster in human skin. Lan Chen was covered in pain and could not even stand, her strength almost gone. She saw her small cloth talisman lying on the floor and clenched her teeth, telling herself she could not fall yet. A memory suddenly flashed through her mind. One rainy afternoon, she walked into the classroom and saw two junior girls huddled in a corner. One of them said if the academy lost its funding, she would have to drop out and return home to work, even though she wanted to become a cultivator. Lan Chen smiled and promised she would win the regional tournament, so the academy would not lose its support. The black-haired girl asked if it was true, and Lan Chen laughed, saying she had never lied to them. The girl then pulled out a small handmade talisman from her pocket and said her mother made it for good luck. She offered it with both hands and said they would always support her. Lan Chen accepted it warmly and agreed they would win together. The memory faded, and she returned to reality, bruised and bleeding, whispering that promise again. She reached out weakly to grab the fallen talisman, but Wang Zhaoxia noticed and coldly stepped on it without mercy. He mocked her for risking her life over such a worthless thing and kicked her brutally in the ribs. Lan Chen collapsed helplessly, and her combat crystal was shaken loose as he stepped on it and sneered at her supporters. The referee announced that her crystal had turned red, meaning total loss of combat ability, and Wang Zhaoxia was declared the winner. Yet even after the result, Wang Zhaoxia raised his heel high, gathering energy, and declared it was over for Yunhu Yu. The MC panicked and shouted for him to stop as security rushed in. The audience stood up in anger, and Wang Mingyuan slammed the table, yelling for him to stop. A guard urgently begged Bai Yue to intervene before someone died, but Bai Yue calmly sipped his tea and said there was no need. Just as Wang Zhaoxia brought his crushing heel down, Zhu Cheng shot in like lightning from the shadows and pulled Lan Chen out of danger. He barely dodges the fatal strike. Zhu Cheng steadies himself and calmly says, "Bullying someone who's already exhausted, is that your style? Is this the so-called noble way of your Shiguang club?" Wang Zhaoxia stomps the floor, cracks the tiles, lifts his bloodshot eyes and snaps, "It's you again, Zhu Cheng." The MC quickly grabs the mic and jumps in to control the scene. It's Zhu Cheng. Just like that, he shows up as the knight who saves Lan Chen at the final second. Li Lian lets out a long breath. Thank goodness. Wang Mingyuan, Hu Wei, and Teacher Zhang rush down toward Zhu Cheng. Wang Mingyuan wipes his sweat and mutters thanks to the heavens. The crowd starts buzzing in anger. Some slam Wang Zhaoxia for being inhuman. Others cheer for Zhu Cheng. The match was already decided, yet he still tried to kill. That's unforgivable. Zhu Cheng, in the finals, you better teach that arrogant bastard a lesson. Wang Zhaoxia just cracks his shoulders and sneers. Trash is trash. One more or one less makes no difference. Zhu Cheng gently sets Lan Chen down. Killing intent radiates from him. He smirks and says, "Is that so? Then try me." The medics rush in and carry Lan Chen away. The announcer declares both finalists chose to skip rest and go straight into the championship match. Staff are told to restore the arena immediately. Meanwhile, Ma Wenhao, Shen Jiaxi, and Su Xiaoxia squeeze through the crowd and drop into the seats beside Liu Tiantian. Shen Jiaxi notices her clutching a glowing sign that says Li Te Yu, keep going, and asks if she's Zhu Cheng's classmate. Liu Tiantian sighs and says Zhu Cheng made it to the finals, but his opponent won't be easy. The big screen starts the countdown. On the arena floor, Wang Mingyuan tells Hu Wei they should have banned that bloodthirsty maniac. He complains about the Li family backing him. Hu Wei pats Zhu Cheng's shoulder and warns him to be careful. Zhu Cheng calmly says, "Don't worry, principal." He walks toward Wang Zhaoxia waiting at center stage. Wang Zhaoxia folds his arms and mocks him for coming from a poor, broken academy. He says Zhu Cheng can't seriously think he stands a chance. Before he can finish, Zhu Cheng cuts him off. "Are you done talking, or are we fighting?" Enraged at being ignored, Wang Zhaoxia's eyes burn red as he glares like he wants to tear Zhu Cheng apart. Both take their stances. The announcer roars. Everything is ready. The national championship final begins. The arena explodes. Wang Zhaoxia stomps forward and throws a devastating punch straight at Zhu Cheng's face. The punch misses but slams into the ground, blasting a massive crater as dust and debris fill the air. Standing in the smoke, Wang Zhaoxia sneers, "I thought you were all talk." Then his eyes widen in shock. Zhu Cheng slips past the strike with ease and says coldly, "That line fits you better. Is this all the reigning champion can do?" The earth-shattering punch didn't even scratch him. Zhu Cheng spins and counters, grabbing for Wang Zhaoxia's shoulder, but the man barely slips away. Feeling humiliated, Wang Zhaoxia goes mad and activates the blood-burn skill, roaring as he throws another flaming punch at Zhu Cheng, and the two clash head-on without giving an inch. The commentator slaps the table and shouts, "I've been doing this for over 10 years, but I've never seen a fourth-year match this destructive." He can't believe Li Te Yu, a school competing for the first time, could produce someone like this. Lillian grips her skirt and stares at the arena, whispering they're both insanely strong as the entire stadium erupts in disbelief over Zhu Cheng. Shenrei blurts out that Zhu Cheng must have been holding back during school sparring, while Ma Wenhao shakes his head, shocked at the massive gap in real combat power. Down below, Zhu Cheng finds an opening and drives a clean uppercut into Wang Cexia's jaw, sending him reeling and coughing blood. In the VIP seats, Hu Wei and Teacher Zhang can't hide their shock at Zhu Cheng's explosive strength. Teacher Zhang slams the table and says he knew Zhu Cheng had a solid physique, but never imagined he could trade blows like this, with someone backed by top-tier resources. Staggering back, Wang Cexia touches his bleeding mouth and mutters in disbelief. I'm injured by this nobody. Rage boils inside him as his skin turns red, and he roars while activating the blood-burn skill to its limit. He charges like a feral beast, and a golden hand suddenly appears in the void, stroking its chin in interest at his forced energy amplification. Wang Cexia blasts off like a red lightning bolt, but even with the speed boost, Zhu Cheng tracks his movement with a single glance. Standing with hands behind his back, Zhu Cheng smirks, thinking the speed increased, but it's useless before his heightened perception and focus. On the observation deck, bodyguard Mark Weston reports to Bai Yue that Wang Cexia's energy levels are spiking abnormally and asks if they should halt the match. Bai Yue calmly sips tea and explains this is the Wang family's blood burn skill, a technique that boosts physical power beyond one's rank without breaking any rules. Mark Weston bows in apology, and Bai Yue sets down his cup, adding that Lai Teiyu's fighter hasn't even shown his true strength yet, which makes him curious. Back on the shattered arena floor, the two fighters keep colliding evenly as the platform crumbles, and the air burns with raging energy. The crowd starts buzzing again, asking what Zhu Cheng's true limit is as the fight gets so fast their eyes can't keep up, and Shenrei panics that He's being pushed back, but Ma Wenhao shakes his head and says Zhu Cheng is actually controlling Wang Cexia's rhythm. On the stage, Wang Cexia throws another raging fire-wrapped punch straight at Zhu Cheng's face. Zhu Cheng simply tilts his head and dodges the devastating blow at the last second. He coldly glances at Wang Cexia's twisted face, spins and drives a precise kick into his ribs. Hit hard, Wang Cexia slides back, carving two long marks into the ground as he releases all his energy to resist the force. Gritting his teeth until they bleed, veins bulging, he roars that within the same rank, Zhu Cheng is the first to push him this far, but he is still the strongest. His body swells with red energy, like a ticking bomb about to explode. Yet Zhu Cheng shows no fear, brushing dust off his shoulder and calmly asking, "Is that all you've got?" The atmosphere around him shifts as a bone-chilling aura erupts, his eyes turning razor-sharp while a mechanical voice in his head reports, "Borrowed force activated, unlimited uses remaining." In full blood burn mode, Wang Cexia unleashes a destructive punch, and Zhu Cheng in borrowed force state doesn't dodge but throws his own equally powerful strike. The two overwhelming forces collide head-on. In that instant, Zhu Cheng focuses his perception and sees every trajectory clearly, realizing the fatal weakness lies in Wang Cexia's heart. Locking onto the target, he slips past the attack and slams a hammer-like punch straight into Wang Cexia's chest. The critical hit lands, and Wang Cexia screams as blood bursts from his mouth. Seeing Zhu Cheng pull back for another strike, he panics and shields his head, but the shockwave still leaves him dizzy. Clutching his chest, he trembles in despair as Zhu Cheng's speed and power keep rising, muttering that he is the true genius and refusing to accept reality. Zhu Cheng remains unmoved, slowly tightening his fist with a crack and saying coldly, "This farce ends now." The words only push Wang Cexia further into madness. Burning the last of his life force, he throws one final punch and screams for Zhu Cheng to die. Their fists clash with all their energy, triggering a deafening explosion that cracks and warps the alloy arena floor. The blinding blast forces the audience to shield their eyes, and Hu Wei anxiously asks who won. As the dust slowly clears, Wang Cexia's figure is seen still standing. The commentator hurriedly shouts that Wang Cexia is still on his feet. But before he can finish, Wang Cexia coughs blood, his knees give out, and he collapses as the red battle crystal on his chest shatters across the floor. The announcer corrects himself. Wang Cexia has completely lost the ability to fight, and the one still standing is Zhu Cheng. The giant LED screen lights up with his victory banner as the stadium roars, declaring Zhu Cheng the Group 4 champion, and Lai Teiyu Academy the overall winner with a perfect 200 points. The stands explode as students jump and scream in joy. Shun Jiaxi and Ma Wenhao hug and shout that their boss is unbeatable, while Su Xiaoxia and Liu Tiantian tear up, saying they knew he would do it. In the coaching area, Teacher Zhang pumps his fist and yells that Zhu Cheng made them proud, and Principal Hu Wei applauds with pure satisfaction. Hu Wei even wipes his glasses with wet eyes, saying the academy can finally hold its head high and stop begging for funding, leaving Teacher Zhang stunned that He's still thinking about subsidies. Not far away, other principals whisper and hurry over, eager to shake Hu Wei's hand and build connections. Li Kuo, once arrogant, now clutches his head and curses through gritted teeth. Ao Wu, who mocked earlier, quickly changes sides and runs off to congratulate Hu Wei as well. With the match over, Bai Yue calmly stands up in the VIP room, says Hez returning to the center, and leaves the cleanup to his team while quietly noting Zhu Cheng hides his strength well. As he steps out, he notices two figures standing by the floor-to-ceiling window watching the arena. Bai Yue recognizes the girl with the unique hair, and wonders if she also came all this way because of Zhu Cheng. The middle-aged man beside her says it's surprising such talent came from a poor suburb, and asks Lin Yin how confident she is in recruiting Zhu Cheng to their guild. Lin Yin replies they were childhood neighbors, but lost contact after her family moved, and when they met again in Blackwater District, he didn't even recognize her. Even so, she promises to use everything she has to recruit him into their guild. The grand award ceremony begins as winners stand on the podium, receiving trophies and medals. Reporters swarm with flashing cameras, and Hu Wei proudly declares that even barren land can raise a golden phoenix. The reporters barely care about Hu Wei's speech, and swarm Zhu Cheng instead, shouting for photos as he forces a stiff smile, thinking this is more exhausting than the fight itself. The next morning in the quiet office, Hu Wei reads the front-page headline praising Lai Te-Yu's miracle rise. He hands Zhu Cheng a glowing crystal he once promised as a reward, saying if it helps his growth, the academy's founder would be proud. Hu Wei warns that major inner-region academies will soon try to recruit him, and tells him never to forget Lai Te-Yu, and Zhu Cheng firmly promises he won't. Outside the office, Zhu Cheng finds Shen Jiaxi and the others holding gold-edged admission letters, saying they came to find him. Shen Jiaxi excitedly reveals they all received direct offers from the top 5 academies in the region right after the finals. Zhu Cheng congratulates them sincerely, saying with their talent it would be strange if they weren't chosen, and Shen Jiaxi laughs that it's thanks to training with their boss. He then declares they won't stay small forever, and one day will fight alongside Zhu Cheng as true partners. Su Xiaoxia explains they may attend different academies, but they can still train together in their free time, and even drag Zhu Cheng out to hang out. Zhu Cheng smiles and says of course, going alone to the inner region would be lonely anyway. He adds hell still need them as sparring partners, and Shen Jiaxi proudly says just call, and they'll be there as the 4 walk off arm in arm to celebrate. Suddenly, Lu Tiantian nervously asks if she can join their group too, saying she also wants to become stronger, her eyes burning with determination. The next day, inside the VIP training room, the place was spotless and fully loaded with high-end machines. Lu Tiantian walked around in awe, gently touching the equipment, eyes sparkling, and whispered, "So this is the elite class training room, and someone like me actually gets to train here?" She turned to Zhu Cheng with gratitude, thanking him for seriously considering her request, while Zhu Cheng adjusted his gloves and smiled, saying he only casually mentioned it to the principal and got instant approval. Hearing that, Liu Tiantian immediately bowed 90 degrees to Hu Wei and thanked him sincerely, and Hu Wei simply smiled and told her there was no need to be so formal. Then Hu Wei spread his arms and revealed a big reform plan, announcing he would remove elite class restrictions and open the training system to all students, funded by the massive first prize from the Jialiao tournament, and he thanked them for fighting so hard. The students exchanged proud smiles, but Shen Jiari complained they were graduating too soon to enjoy it, got smacked by Ma Wenhao for ruining the mood, and Hu Wei laughed, saying they could always visit the school in the future. Suddenly Su Xiaoxia asked why Liu Tiantian was training so hard during vacation, while Shen Jiari teased about when the two girls became so close. Ignoring the teasing, Liu Tiantian admitted she once felt talentless and wanted to give up, but after watching them fight for their dreams, she decided to apply to a top academy as a scholarship academic student, needing only level 2 combat within 1.5 months, and she would give it her all with no regrets. Seeing the shy class monitor's determination, Su Xiaoxia was so moved, her eyes turned red. Su Xiaoxia rushed over and hugged Liu Tiantian, promising to be her punching bag, and Liu Tiantian hugged back in tears while Ma Wenhao froze at the emotional scene, and Shen Jiari boldly offered to help train too. After that, Shen Jiari turned to Zhu Cheng and asked seriously about his next plan and which academy he had chosen. Zhu Cheng casually said he still hadn't received any admission letter, shocking everyone, but he stayed calm and said he didn't know how the enrollment system worked. At that moment, Hu Wei cleared his throat and said he had something important to tell Zhu Cheng about his admission. He revealed the real admission letter had been sealed and urgently delivered straight to his office that morning, then carefully took out a dark red envelope trimmed in gold. Zhu Cheng took the envelope while his friends crowded around, and Shen Jiari laughed, telling him to open it and see which of the 5 great academies had recruited him. Inside was a premium parchment letter, along with a metal name card, engraved with the academy's name. The moment Shen Jiarui saw the name, his face changed as he shouted in shock that it was Po Xiao Academy, the legendary school that stood above the 5 great academies. Zhu Cheng looked confused and asked what Po Xiao Academy was, and Shen Jiarui reacted like he was talking to an alien before starting a full explanation. He explained that among thousands of academies, the top 5 were Kai Ming Xing Academy, Shou Wangjie Academy, Hongxi Academy, Changqiang Academy, and Anfa Academy, each symbolizing ultimate power and authority. Then he lowered his voice and said there was only one academy powerful enough to stand above all 5. That academy was Po Xiao Academy, and if they selected a student, even the principals of the 5 great academies had to wait patiently for Po Xiao to finish choosing first. Zhu Cheng logically asked why the media only praised the 5 great academies as the best, instead of calling them the 6. Hu Wei stepped forward and explained that Po Xiao Academy was a secret military institution founded by the government, created for one purpose only, to train elite forces to conquer the rifts. Hu Wei sighed and lowered his voice, saying the central government forbids revealing the existence of the rifts, but since they were now qualified inner-layer citizens, he could explain a little. Liu Tiantian nervously asked if she should step away since she hadn't been admitted yet, but Hu Wei waved it off and told her to just keep it secret. He explained that rifts were massive parallel dimensions, filled with mutated creatures as strong as evolvers, and if they broke into the real world, humanity would face disaster, so elite forces had to wipe them out. He admitted the rewards were huge, but the danger was beyond imagination, then revealed he once joined a rift suppression team that was ambushed, suffered heavy casualties, and eventually disbanded, and warned Zhu Cheng to think carefully because Po Xiao Academy had the highest difficulty and casualty rate in the country. He added that Po Xiao only had priority recruitment rights, so even if Zhu Cheng refused, the 5 great academies would immediately compete for him, and he didn't want him walking blindly into death. Staring at the black metal card, Zhu Cheng answered firmly that he would go, thinking it was the fastest way to earn money and power up at the same time. Seeing his determination, Hu Wei stopped persuading him and laughed, saying he knew Zhu Cheng would choose this path and might become a future vanguard warrior. Shen Jiarui threw an arm over Zhu Cheng's shoulder and grinned, saying wherever the boss went, they would follow, and as long as they grew stronger together, there was nothing to fear. Shen Jiari then noticed the enrollment date was the 16th, only 10 days away, and when Zhu Cheng questioned the rush, Hu Wei explained that Po Xiao Academy operated under its own special system. Hearing that, Zhu Cheng hurried to leave, saying he needed to pack and apologizing for not being able to help Liu Tiantian train, but Su Xiaoxia laughed and told him to leave the class monitor to them. Back in his shabby rental room, Zhu Cheng locked the door and paced around, mumbling as he listed clothes, shoes, umbrella, toothbrush, and wondered what other essentials he needed to bring. While he was lost in thought, a strange purple flame suddenly shot out and appeared right in front of him. The golden hand floated in the air, and Zhu Cheng glanced at the priceless crystal sealed inside a green flame on the table. Suddenly, a pale claw reached out from the purple fire and stabbed its red nails straight into the green flame. The green flame was forcefully drained, its power completely absorbed by the red nails. Without protection, the crystal dropped to the floor and shattered into tiny fragments. Zhu Cheng collapsed to his knees and screamed in despair, "My crystal is gone." He cried that he planned to sell it on the black market, but the golden hand complained it only borrowed the pure energy inside and asked why he was suddenly talking about school. Holding back tears, Zhu Cheng explained he had been accepted by Po Xiao Academy, a place rich in resources but requiring students to join rift suppression missions that even veterans feared. The golden hand sneered and said rifts were nothing special, because evolvers and rift creatures shared the same origin, and their power came from rift energy cores. Hearing that, Zhu Cheng immediately tried his luck and asked his mighty boss for a reward to protect his life, since one contract wish had just been completed. The contract panel flickered and confirmed the wish of obtaining a black crystal had been fulfilled. The golden hand sighed at his shamelessness, but admitted the rift contained a target it needed, so it would help him this once. It said, after absorbing the crystal's energy, it had recovered some original power and would use it to grant him something useful, warning the process would hurt. As promised, streams of cold dark aura spread out and seeped deep into Zhu Cheng's body. His eyes turned pitch black as red system text flashed, loading, fragment of creation authority, connecting to host. The system scanned and rebuilt his body, optimized his genes, upgraded him to E rank level 6, and granted him a special authority, fragment of creation authority. Gasping and drenched in sweat, Zhu Cheng asked what this fragment of creation authority even was. The panel displayed that it was a fragment of the supreme power of the creation demon god Sariosto, granting its holder a portion of unmatched creation power, leaving Zhu Cheng completely stunned and confused. The golden hand crossed its arms and patiently explained that Sariosto was an old friend, and the creation authority could unlock hidden potential, filter the best compatible power, even reshape race or rebuild the body, so now Zhu Cheng could create powers on his own. Zhu Cheng frowned and asked why it did not just directly power him up, instead of giving him something so demanding. The golden hand snapped back, saying levels only boost basic stats, but after breaking into D rank, awakened potential decides everything, and without strong potential, he would stay trash no matter how hard he grinded. Zhu Cheng finally understood, recalling how Lan Chen awakened a rare ability early, and realized unique potential mattered far more than pure leveling if he wanted to survive inside a rift. The golden hand floated around and added that the strength of creation authority depends on the user's understanding and mindsets, so he should experiment himself. Zhu Cheng focused on the system panel and noticed his body no longer auto-absorbed energy, and even the old crude interface had upgraded into a clean RPG-style UI he instantly understood. The detailed status showed Zhu Cheng, Human Evolver Bloodline, Potential Locked, E Rank Level 6, Physique 30, other stats listed, Skills Unlocked, 994 Divine Wishes remaining, and Soul Currency at 0. He noticed a shop icon and wondered if trading was unlocked, but error messages popped up saying shop access, rank advancement, and system authority required reaching D rank level 7, so he realized his top priority now was to grind and level up fast. He silently selects the upgrade function, and a brutal price list pops up. To raise star attribute from E6 to D1 costs 200 soul points. Boosting physique from 30 to 31 costs 30 soul points. Unlocking strength, speed, spirit, or divine sense from 0 to 1 also costs 30 soul points. Warning, current soul point balance is 0. Upgrade failed due to insufficient souls. Note, souls are priceless mystical substances obtained only by killing creatures from the rifts. Souls can be directly converted into power for leveling. Current soul count, 0. After reading that, he freezes in shock. So he is level locked now. No more normal leveling. Seeing his pale face, the golden hand asks what is wrong. Zhu Cheng clutches his head in despair. He has no souls to pay the upgrade cost. The system says he must enter the rift and kill monsters to get them, but his old passive leveling ability is gone. With his current weak stats, stepping into that monster-filled rift means instant death. The old man sighs and taps his fingers. This cowardly brat never stops complaining. Sometimes he feels like a babysitter chained to him. Still, maybe the kid is just lucky. Right on cue, another hidden wish just got completed. Since he already stepped in, he might as well go all the way. A ping echoes as the system updates. Survival wish. Survive 70 days in this world. Completed. Remaining divine wishes. 993. Reward distribution in progress. Congratulations. You have obtained an epic item. Cadillac's demon armor. He blinks in disbelief. Demon armor? That name sounds insane. Is this some kind of physical defense gear? A 3D panel shows the details. Item. Fragment of Cadillac's demon armor. Type. Unique defensive weapon. Drops only once. Description. Contains a fragment of the legendary heroic spirit Cadillac's armor. Trait. Permanently soulbound to the owner. Will not drop on death. No physical requirement to equip. Comes with passive skill demon armor attach. Effect. Summons the armor fragment onto the body, forming a solid shield that blocks incoming damage. When attached, it also enhances physical strength significantly. He closes his eyes and feels the change in his body. Not bad. Another soulbound defensive item. It blocks lethal attacks and even boosts his combat power. Sure, as a fragment it only covers part of his body. But with stats like this, what more could a rookie like him ask for? The golden hand speaks in a tired tone. Giving him this reward drained all its origin power. This was a risky investment. So when he enters that place, he better work hard and repay the favor. Zhu Cheng strokes the phantom armor, eyes shining. He nods eagerly. Don't worry, boss. I will remember this kindness and work my life off to repay you. Early next morning, before the fog clears, Hu Wei speaks up. Zhu Cheng, are you leaving today? He slings his backpack over his shoulder and nods. Yes. By car, it only takes a day to reach the mid-tier central city, but I want to enroll early and settle in. He pulls out a neatly folded note and a small package. Teacher, I actually need a favor. Please check on my mother at the county hospital when you can, and if you see my sister, please give this package to her. Hu Wei looks puzzled. It must be important. Why not give it to her yourself? Zhu Cheng lowers his head. We had a conflict recently. I do not have the face to see her. Please help me. Hu Wei does not press further. He sighs and puts the package away. I understand. I will take care of your family. You focus on your studies. His friends gather around, laughing and shouting. Boss, stay safe. In half a year, we will join you in the city. When that happens, you better protect us rookies. Zhu Cheng grins, waves casually, and turns away. Take care, everyone. I am heading out. After a long journey, he finally arrives at the Grand Departure Hall of Universal Airport. At the counter, the receptionist smiles politely. Sir, are you checking in for Flight 808 to the mid-tier district? Due to new security rules, may I ask your purpose of travel? He answers calmly. I am enrolling in school. She glances at his simple clothes and frowns. Enrolling? But it is not admission season. She asks for proof of admission. Zhu Cheng hesitates, then hands over a black card engraved with gold patterns. I do not have the document. Will this work instead? The moment she sees the emblem, she freezes. That is the high-level identity card of the legendary Rift Academy. She has worked here for years and never seen one in person. Yet this plainly dressed teenager is a specially recruited elite freshman. Seeing her stare in silence, Zhu Cheng panics. Did I give the wrong card? He hurriedly searches his bag. Is this not valid ID? He mutters about finding the paper letter. The receptionist snaps out of it and quickly bows, returning the card with both hands. No need, sir. This privilege card is more than enough. She bows deeply and apologizes for earlier. Sir, please use the VIP lane. On board, just follow the chief attendance arrangement. Zhu Cheng scratches his head. Wait, I do not need to pay for the ticket? She smiles brightly. With your heightier citizen status for mid-tier travel, flights going inward are free. Only outbound flights require payment. After more procedures and waiting, the trunker finally roars into the sky. He leans back in the soft seat, sipping wine in the luxury cabin. He cannot believe this. This feels like first-class treatment. Could this be one of the many privileges of the legendary Rift Academy? He rubs the black card and mutters, Rift Academy. I risked my life to come here. You better live up to that name. The announcement echoes. The plane will land at 10 a.m. tomorrow at Mid-Tier International Airport. Due to time adjustment, local time will shift forward. Please reset your watches. After a long trip, Zhu Cheng stands before the massive iron gate of Rift Academy. The castle-like campus looks grand and imposing, but the air feels strangely quiet and heavy. He sees no students at all. It does not feel like a normal university. Inside the silent main hall, he approaches the wooden reception desk. Hello, I am a newly admitted student. Where do I register for housing? The staff member asks to see his card. Zhu Cheng hands it over. After scanning and verifying the data, the staff member's eyes light up. He jumps up and rushes out to shake Zhu Cheng's hand. So you are Zhu Cheng. We have been waiting for you. Come with me. I will personally show you inside. Zhu Cheng steps back, confused. Waiting for me? Since when do I know anyone here? The staff member leads the way and lowers his voice. Do not misunderstand. I am not the one waiting. A big figure here wants to see you. They pass through a quiet garden and stop before a tall black stone tablet carved with ancient runes. Stand in the magic circle, then use your black card and touch the center of the stone. Zhu Cheng hugs his backpack and scans the area cautiously. Why is there a strange stone monument in such a remote corner? Is this some hidden entrance? The senior only gives a half smile. Do not be afraid. You will understand soon enough. The staff warns him the transfer may cause dizziness. Zhu Cheng presses the leather card against the stone. The monument instantly bursts into blinding light. The world around him twists and distorts. His vision spins. When the light fades, he clutches his stomach and opens his eyes. Wait, that was instant teleportation magic. So the grand castle outside was just a front. The staff laughs and pats his shoulder. The real Rift Academy base is hidden far from the mainland. For security, everyone must use the stone teleportation network. You just arrived, Junior Zhu. There will be plenty of time to explore later. Right now, someone important is waiting. They hurry through reinforced corridors and stop at a luxurious office. Without knocking, the staff pushes the door open. Miss Lin En, I have safely brought the person you requested. At the tea table, Lin En sits elegantly in a silk dress, calmly sipping black tea. She sets the cup down and looks over with sharp eyes. Zhu Cheng, it has been a while since the Blackwater district. Do you still remember me? Hearing her voice, Zhu Cheng freezes, then recalls everything. You are the girl who covered my mouth in the alley. I always wanted to thank you properly. I did not expect you to be my senior here. Lin En ignores the thanks and pays the staff member. The transfer fee has been sent. Check it. He confirms the payment and quickly excuses himself, leaving them alone. Once the door closes, Zhu Cheng relaxes slightly. Senior Lin En, we only met by chance. Why go through so much trouble to bring me here? You must want something from me. Before he can sit, a guard steps out from behind a screen. He points at Zhu Cheng and shouts, Stop right there. You are just a low-born rat from the outer slums. Who gave you permission to approach Miss Lin En? Lin En slams her cup down. Tweeming Cheng, watch your mouth. Zhu Cheng is my honored guest. She gestures to a seat. Ignore that dog. Sit and let us talk. Zhu Cheng stands still, arms crossed. No need, I can stand. If you have something to say it directly. Seeing his blunt attitude, Lin En sighs. Fine, I will be straightforward. Our G Guild combat team is short on high-level members. As deputy manager, I officially invite you to join us. Contract offer, 30 million. What do you think? The moment he hears 30 million, Zhu Cheng feels struck by lightning. Is she insane? 30 million right out of the gate. Normally, guild salaries depend on strength and future potential. Even top fresh graduates rarely pass 1 million. So why is G Guild offering 30? Thui Mingcheng explodes in protest. Miss Lin En, are you crazy? With that money you could hire 3 peak rank mercenaries or 3 veteran rank hunters. This outer district nobody is not worth that price. Lin En shoots him a razor-sharp glare. Since when does a bodyguard get to question my decisions? Thui Mingcheng instantly breaks into cold sweat and lowers his head. I spoke out of line. Forgive me, Miss Lin En. Jishi stands against the wall with folded arms, silent, carefully observing Zhu Cheng. Lin En softens her tone. Zhu Cheng, you just arrived in the mid-tier city, alone and unaffiliated. You have not signed with any guild yet, right? This is the highest offer I have ever given a newcomer. I hope you see my sincerity. Zhu Cheng rubs his chin and thinks hard. 30 million is life-changing money, but on paper he is just an rank rookie. Why would she gamble this big? There must be strings attached. After hesitating, he finally speaks. Senior Linen, I am sorry, but Before he can finish, the school broadcast cuts in. All first-year students report to the main hall within 1 hour. Lin En clicks her tongue. Looks like the freshmen have all arrived. Leave your luggage here and go attend first. As for the guild, I know it is sudden. Take your time to think. After the freshman session, seniors will select protégés. I hope you choose me as your mentor. Consider it repayment for saving you in that alley. Having someone familiar guide you here would not hurt. Zhu Cheng nods gratefully. I understand, Senior Linen. I will think carefully. She smiles with satisfaction. Jushi escort him to the hall. Jushi bows and complies. Soon, the massive hall buzzes with freshman chatter. A blonde young man in flashy designer clothes strides in arrogantly. So even I arrived last among these freshmen. As expected, the main character always makes a grand entrance. It took real connections to get into this academy. I heard the Lin family's young lady studies here. A pampered girl like that should be easy to win over. If I can build ties with her, or even marry into the family, our clan's fortune will skyrocket. He glanced at Zhu Cheng yawning beside him and sneered inwardly. That shabby country kid looked completely out of place. The first-year batch this year seems like a bunch of useless amateurs. Perfect. With such weak competition, he would stand out even more easily just by sitting near them. As the seats filled up, the teacher stepped onto the podium and tapped the microphone. Everyone is here, right? I have a report to submit to the higher authorities, so I'll make this quick. My name is Jiang Hui, and I'm your class supervisor. His tone was cold from the start. Don't expect me to personally teach or guide you. I'm very busy. The hall fell silent as Jiang Hui continued. My job is to arrange your life or death exams and record your survival results. Beyond mandatory tasks, the academy gives you complete freedom. No restrictions on your personal schedule. His sharp gaze swept across the room. You were all once called geniuses back in your hometowns. But here, you must abandon that glory. From now on, you are nothing but rookies of Paxiao Academy. And soon, you will face a nightmare you've never seen before: rifts. The atmosphere instantly turned cold. Jiang Hui explained further. Simply put, rifts are like bloody hunting grounds. Awakeners are hunters but can also become prey. Inside those strange dimensions, all modern human technology becomes useless scrap. Only physical strength and weapons forged from rift materials can harm the monsters. Paxiao Academy gathers the strongest awakeners of humanity. This place itself is a fortress, the final defensive line against rift invasions. And you, he said firmly, are reserve soldiers on this life-or-death defense line. He added that detailed rift information could be found in the library. The academy also provides simulated combat training in virtual rift environments. Weekly lectures from experts across various fields are available, and students can freely choose what to learn. There is no fixed curriculum. The more you understand rifts, the higher your chances of surviving and growing stronger. If you can't even adapt to this self-learning environment, leave as soon as possible. No one dared to make a sound. Jiang Hui nodded in satisfaction. Good. I see no fear in your eyes. Everyone here must have ambitions for power, even at the cost of life. He then clapped his hands lightly. Congratulations on passing the first screening. Boxes were handed out. This is your new student reward. The gifts were passed around, and the students eagerly opened them. Glowing stones appeared in their hands. A skill stone? Someone exclaimed. Just by crushing and absorbing it, you can directly learn the skill inside. These are extremely expensive on the black market. The crowd buzzed in excitement as they examined them. Jiang Hui confirmed calmly, yes, these contain common combat skills. No need to study manuals. Just crush them, and your nervous system will automatically comprehend them. Zhu Cheng received a pale blue stone, and a system prompt appeared in his mind. Obtained. Insight Eye. Classification. Passive common combat skill. Effect. Automatically perceives and translates written languages inside rifts. Jiang Hui continued explaining. This inside eye lets you read inscriptions and seals inside rifts, helping you avoid traps and clear them more efficiently. Then his voice turned colder. But don't get too excited just yet. Jiang Hui announced that 2 more life or death practical exams would follow immediately, starting with a low-level Rift survival team test for all first-year students. He raised 2 fingers and explained the second requirement, which was a graduation condition. Reach rank D and awaken potential within 6 months, plus earn 100 credits in 1 year through missions. Students immediately panicked at the tight deadline, many still stuck at rank E, unsure if they could keep up. The blonde-haired youth smirked confidently, thinking rank D was only equivalent to E5, and with his drug-enhanced foundation, reaching it would be effortless compared to the rest. Zhu Cheng fell into thought, realizing he was already E6 thanks to buffs, but he could no longer rely on shortcuts. To grow further, he would need to enter rifts, hunt monsters, and absorb soul energy. Jiang Hui then calmed the hall and explained that the academy would subsidize internal enhancement drugs far below black market prices, and senior students would be assigned as mentors to guide newcomers in earning credits. The side door opened, and a white-haired girl with an icy elegant aura walked into the hall. The new male students were instantly stunned by her beauty and began whispering in shock. Jiang Hui introduced her as an outstanding senior student who would oversee and evaluate the first-year male intake. Each student would choose a senior mentor, and that mentor would design their entry Rift survival exam. The hall erupted again as students recognized her, calling out excitedly that she was Lin An, the famous campus goddess. Another student explained her identity, saying she was the daughter of a prestigious family and the chosen heir of the Divine Flower Guild, making her mentorship extremely valuable for future career opportunities. The group buzzed with excitement, and Zhu Cheng silently processed the information, realizing Lin An's background was far more powerful than expected. A male student stood up and boldly requested Lin An to accept him as her mentee, claiming he joined the academy because of her admiration. Lin An calmly assessed him and rejected him, noting his physique suggested a physical combat path, while she specialized in magic and had no expertise to guide him. Another muscular student immediately tried his luck, stating he planned to transition into magic later, hoping for her guidance. But Lin An again refused coldly, saying she was a pure mage with no interest in physical combat training. The others still refused to give up and kept standing to compete for her attention. Senior Lin An, my build also fits the mage path perfectly. I want to become a speed-type mage. One after another, they threw away all dignity, only to be coldly rejected by her. The remaining students gradually lost confidence, muttering that it was no wonder she came from the Divine Flower Guild. Her standards were just too high. In the end, they decided to back off and pick other seniors instead. Jiang Hui on the podium could only rub his forehead helplessly, clearly frustrated by Lin An's picky selections. That girl is really a headache. After thinking it over, he walked over and lowered his voice to persuade her. Lower your standards a bit. Don't blame me for not warning you. This year you must take at least 1 first-year student. If you keep rejecting everyone, I'll just assign you the worst leftover student by default. Forced by the KPI, Lin An reluctantly nodded. All right, I'll take one. But a sly glint flashed in her eyes as she scanned the crowd and locked onto Zhu Cheng sitting quietly in the corner. Zhu Cheng felt her gaze and stiffened slightly. He scratched his nose awkwardly. Why is she looking at me like that? Does she mean something? The blonde-haired young man had been watching everything calmly. Seeing all his competitors eliminated, he smirked in satisfaction. Perfect. All the trash-level opponents are gone. He thought confidently that with his looks and talent, Lin An would never refuse him. Even if she did, the last assigned spot would still end up under her control anyway. Either way, he planned to win. Just as he was waiting to be called, Zhu Cheng suddenly stood up and loudly declared with a sincere tone, Senior Lin An, what I seek here is not just knowledge, but the honor of learning your combat style. Will you accept me as your mentee? Lin An froze slightly, surprised by his overly dramatic performance. The earlier rejected students immediately turned back to mock him. This guy still hasn't learned anything from us. Empty words like that won't impress the goddess. Before they could finish, Lin An's clear voice came through the microphone. I accept. The mocking students instantly turned pale. She stepped down from the podium and clapped lightly. I choose you. The blonde-haired youth dropped his comb in shock. What the hell? Him? Seriously? The entire hall erupted in disbelief. She only picked one person? What kind of taste is that? Later, to avoid attention, the two of them moved to a quieter mission hall. Zhu Cheng finally asked, now that no one's around, can you tell me the real reason? With your status as the heir of the Divine Flower Guild, you should have no shortage of elite applicants. So why choose a newcomer like me? Linen clasped her hands behind her back and replied calmly, I chose you not just for the guild, but for a personal reason. She glanced over her shoulder. But the details you'll only know after you prove yourself and survive the entrance rift test I personally designed. Right now, your priority isn't money. It's surviving that test. She gestured toward a group waiting in the distance. And they are your teammates for this mission. The group sized Zhu Cheng up curiously. So you're the rookie? Lin An spoke firmly. Everyone, introduce your abilities. We need coordination for this operation. A nimble girl with a short sword at her waist stepped forward and introduced herself briefly. My name is Su Han, rank C, awakened potential, stealth assassin type. I have been assigned as the safety supervisor for this assessment team. She spoke calmly. I will only observe from outside and will not assist in combat. I will only intervene if a member is on the verge of death. Her tone turned strict. Remember, the moment I step in to rescue someone, you will automatically be considered as having failed the test. Next, a petite girl wearing a pre-style robe with a medical cross emblem stepped forward and bowed slightly. Hello everyone. Liu Wei, rank D, class. My awakened potential is healing. I will act as the team's support healer and restore your injuries during combat. Then a lively girl with twin ponytails and a large bow stepped up. Zhao Lin, rank D, level 1. My potential is wind affinity. I specialize in ranged support damage and speed assistance. Finally, the only male with a muscular build stepped forward carrying a massive sword, raising his chin arrogantly. Li De, rank D, class. My awakened potential is weapon enhancement. I am the team captain for this assessment, he pointed forward. If you want to survive, you'd better listen to my commands. He suddenly frowned. Wait, you don't have any equipment or weapon? He narrowed his eyes. Don't tell me you're some kind of genius with bare-hand combat? Zhu Cheng scratched his head awkwardly. Hello, Zhu Cheng, first-year student. My file still shows rank E, so I haven't awakened any potential yet. The moment he heard rank E, Li De's expression darkened. What? And a rank rookie? And he came in empty-handed? His voice rose in anger. Are you trying to join a life-or-death rift exam like this? He turned away and complained bitterly. What kind of team assignment system is this academy using? They threw in a dead weight like him just to drag us down. Liu Wei and Zhao Lin looked uneasy, but disagreed with his harsh tone. Stop complaining. The team is already finalized by the system. You can't change it now, Zhao Lin added. If we disband and re-queue, we don't know how long we'll have to wait. Li Di clicked his tongue. Fine. Just stay behind and don't interfere. Don't get in my way during combat. Liu Wei gently pulled Zhu Cheng aside. First-year student, when we enter the rift later, stay close behind me. Don't run around. Zhu Cheng nodded confidently. Don't worry. I have plenty of combat experience against monsters. She sighed helplessly. You don't understand. Inside the rift, physical attacks are useless unless you have rift-forged weapons or awakened abilities. New students always think they're stronger than they are. After finishing preparations, the group arrived at the rift control desk. Li De slammed the documents down. Team leader Li De, requesting approval for entry into the assessment rift. The staff checked the seal and nodded. Application approved. You are assigned to Rift Room 1. Follow me. They were led to a massive steel door. The staff inserted a glowing shard known as a World Tree fragment into the lock. It functioned as a magical key that forcibly activated the rift gateway. The steel door rumbled open. A mechanical voice announced the safe activation of the rift passage. Good luck, students. Li De drew his greatsword and shouted, Everyone, prepare yourselves. We're going in. Zhu Cheng stepped through the gate and curiously scanned the dark, surreal space ahead. He took a slow breath. Strange such vivid life energy. The ambient energy here was extremely dense, making him feel refreshed just by inhaling it. So this is what the inside of a rift looks like. If things go smoothly, I should be able to hunt monsters and collect soul items to upgrade. As soon as the group fully entered, the space behind them sealed shut. A cold system voice echoed, Report. Awakeners have entered subterranean cavern zone. Liu Wei shone her light along the damp rock walls and frowned. Subterranean cavern? I've never heard of this type before. Before she could finish, a chilling beast howl echoed from deep within the darkness. Zhao Lin quickly raised her bow, face pale. Careful, they've already detected us. Liu Wei gripped her staff tightly. So fast? We haven't even adapted yet. Li De stepped forward, raising his sword. Calm down. Form up. Defensive formation. The sudden shift in atmosphere made Zhu Cheng slightly stunned. In just seconds, they had already formed a battle formation. So this is the difference between academy seniors. Su Han, the examiner, quietly retreated into the shadows, her body fading into stealth. A cold voice echoed behind them. The test has officially begun. Good luck staying alive. Li De slammed his sword into the ground. They're here. 3 dark-furred beasts, identified as rank D shadow wolves, burst from the darkness and charged the formation. Li De roared and blocked the leader's claw strike with his greatsword. Sparks flew. So this is a shadow wolf. No wonder they tracked us so fast. Zhao Lin swiftly drew her bow. Wind arrows shot out and pierced the wolves' heads. Seizing the opening, Li De unleashed a powerful slash, cutting down the monsters in a single strike. He surged forward excitedly. "Come on, you trash!" Zhao Lin shouted urgently. "Wait, you're too far ahead." But Li De ignored the warning, chasing deeper into the battlefield. Zhao Lin struggled to hold her position. Liu Wei panicked. "I'll heal you, hold on." Before she could reach him, another wolf lunged from behind, jaws wide open. Seeing the sharp fangs closing in, she closed her eyes in despair. It's over. Suddenly, Zhu Cheng stepped in and delivered a powerful strike, sending the wolf flying away. He glanced calmly. "Are you okay?" Liu Wei froze, stunned by what just happened. A system notification appeared. 10 soul points obtained. Zhu Cheng's eyes lit up. So only personally killed monsters grant soul rewards. If a weak monster gives 10 points, stronger ones must be worth far more. Thinking this, he turned his gaze toward a larger monster, deeper in the cavern, silently deciding to test it. On the other side, Zhao Lin gritted her teeth. "We need healing over here." Liu Wei snapped back to focus and rushed over. Healing light flowed, slowly closing Zhao Lin's wounds. She glanced back in confusion. "That new student, did he just save me? I didn't even see how he moved." Above them, Su-han observed silently. Overall strength was decent, but coordination was poor, especially Li De, who prioritized kills over team safety. His power could compensate for recklessness, but rifts were never a place for carelessness. If they didn't fix their formation quickly, this test would turn deadly. On the ground, Li De was already bloodthirsty and overconfident. "Too easy without those weak teammates. I could clear this, alone." Suddenly, a strange sound echoed behind him. Li Ru swings his sword back without hesitation and shouts, thinking the wolf wouldn't notice him. But when the blade hits the wolf's head, it only sparks with a piercing flash of electricity. The recoil is so strong his sword is knocked away, leaving him in shock. Now 2 elite lava wolves appear. Li Rui starts shaking in fear, losing all his confidence and screaming for help. Hearing the cries, the 2 girls rush over. Zhao Lin looks around nervously and spots more lava wolves. His shouting has drawn the whole pack, trapping the team in a siege. Li Rei keeps screaming on the other side, yelling at Liu Wei to heal him, but she says the distance is too far. He gets furious and threatens her, saying if he fails the exam, it's her fault. Liu Wei turns pale. Zhao Lin quickly stops her, telling Liu Wei not to go. But she is already panicking and rushes forward, and a lava wolf immediately charges at her. Tu Han curses in anger, calling it suicide to force a support mage to rush in alone. Seeing the situation hopeless, she prepares to intervene. Just as she is about to jump in, a hand grabs Liu Wei's collar and yanks her back. The other hand clamps down on the wolf's jaws. With overwhelming strength, the wolf is crushed instantly. The system updates. 30 souls obtained. He stares at the corpse and analyzes it. This one is stronger than before and gives more souls. Its stone armor means nothing against his power. He throws the body aside and calmly says to follow him out of the encirclement. Liu Wei is stunned and asks how he did that. Zhu Cheng picks up Li Ru's sword and charges straight into the siege alone. A lava wolf rushes him and is instantly killed, granting 30 more souls. Another follows and falls in a single strike. Tu Han is shocked, unable to believe a new student has such terrifying skill, even stronger than elite ranks. The girl behind him is also stunned, questioning if this is really E-rank strength, and tells Zhao Lin to follow quickly. The 2 rush after him, while the wolves chase closely behind. Just as they are about to be caught, Zhu Cheng suddenly turns and shouts for them to lie down. In an instant, all pursuing wolves are wiped out. After clearing the wave, the area falls silent. He smiles and says they are safe for now, then asks Liu Wei to heal the injured. The 2 girls are still in shock, wondering who this guy really is. Meanwhile, Li Rei, being healed, keeps complaining in pain. Zhao Lin offers to stand guard, and Liu Wei insists she is fine and thanks Zhu Cheng. Zhu Cheng checks the system and sees 200 souls, realizing he can easily level up at this rate. Suddenly, Li Dis' voice comes from behind, saying he wants to quit the exam. Liu Wei tries to persuade him to continue, but Zhao Lin confronts him. Li Di insults the team, calling them useless and blaming them for his injuries. Tension rises, and the group falls silent. Li Rei smugly thinks they will soon realize his importance and beg him to lead. But Zhu Cheng coldly interrupts, saying he will take the vanguard role and lead them through the rest of the exam. Li Di refuses to believe it and questions him. Zhu Cheng calmly explains the team needs a vanguard, and he is capable of taking that role. Li Rei laughs mockingly, calling Zhu Cheng stupid. He says Zhu Cheng only killed a few lava wolves using his sword, and without gear, he would be nothing against the final boss. Unexpectedly, the 2 girls side with Zhu Cheng. They both agree to accept the new member. Li Rei is stunned and furious. They question why Li Rei thinks Zhu Cheng can't pass the exam. The girls say they already saw his strength. He is more reliable than someone who only screams and panics. They decide to trust Zhu Cheng and continue. They tell Li Rui to stay behind if he wants, while they move on with the new guy. Li Rui trembles in rage, feeling betrayed as the group ignores him. He swears they will regret it. Deeper in the cave, more lava wolves rush in, but they are instantly shot down with precision. Qiaolin cheers, saying she successfully blocked their attack. Zhu Cheng rushes forward with his sword and praises her effort. Liu Wei jumps back and reports enemies flanking from the left. Qiaolin quickly adjusts direction. While they fight, a wolf sneaks around to ambush them, but it is instantly smashed away by a flying wolf corpse. Zhu Cheng asks if everyone is okay. They confirm they are fine and realize this may be the final wave. They estimate they have killed about 40 to 50 monsters. Zhu Cheng is surprised at how easy it has been. Liu Wei smiles at Zhu Cheng, saying the new vanguard makes everything much easier. Zhu Cheng modestly says it is teamwork. They move deeper, and Qiaolin gets excited, saying they are near the final area and can clear the exam soon. On the way, Qiaolin asks about the blue light that appeared on Zhu Cheng's hand earlier. Liu Wei also confirms she saw it. Zhu Cheng hesitates, realizing his secret may be exposed, and casually says he is not sure. He adds that it just suddenly appeared during battle. The two girls speculate it is a protective armor or a latent ability, possibly meaning he awakened early. They assume he lied about having no potential. Liu Wei defends him, saying he is a first year and may not understand the rules. Early awakeners are rare. She reminds him to always disclose his potential when forming teams to avoid misunderstandings. Zhu Cheng reluctantly agrees. Zhu Cheng sighs, thinking forming a team slows him down. He could have gained far more souls if he fought alone, possibly reaching 2,000 points already. Behind them, Tu Han is shocked at how a new A-rank student is carrying the whole team. She acknowledges his leadership and wonders why Lin Yin insisted on recruiting him. She also questions the hidden figure following the team in secret, wondering what their real intention is. Qiaolin suddenly stops, realizing there is no path ahead. They have reached the final area, but nothing is there. Liu Wei suggests either there is no boss or it has already been killed. Qiaolin rejects the idea, saying the gate would have closed if that were true. Liu Wei worries that the mission cannot be completed until the gate closes, and suspects a rare situation. Suddenly, Zhu Cheng senses a powerful warning instinct and shouts. A giant wolf drops from the cave ceiling. It explodes on impact, blasting everyone backward. Qiaolin is shocked, realizing the monster had been ambushing them all along. As the dust clears, the creature's true form appears, making both girls pale in fear. This is no joke at all. In front of them stands a pack of dark lava wolves, all A-rank elites, led by a boss-level lava wolf king. Tu Han can no longer stay hidden. She deactivates stealth and rushes forward, ordering everyone to fall back as the exam is temporarily suspended. 3 elite-class monsters and 1 boss. This difficulty clearly exceeds the exam limits. If they rely on current strength, there is no way they can win. Retreat is still possible. Zhu Cheng calmly analyzes the situation. 3 elites and 1 boss means huge soul rewards, but fighting alone is extremely dangerous. Suddenly, the system displays a mission tied to the shard. Collecting lava wolf souls is not complete. Leaving the gate now will trigger a punishment for violating the oath with the evil god. Zhu Cheng is stunned as the evil god's voice echoes in his mind, threatening severe punishment if he disobeys. This is clearly a trap forcing him to fight. He smirks and rolls up his sleeves, saying he will take this fight. Tu Han is shocked and warns him not to act reckless. Qiaolin stops her, saying to trust the new student and watch first. The examiner also agrees to respect the student's decision. The examiner states that if the student insists, they must allow it, but warns everyone to understand the risk. Zhu Cheng signals the team to hide and says he will handle it alone. Liu Wei tells him not to force himself and suggests retreat. He ignores them and focuses on the enemies. Their aura is overwhelming, and without his armor he would have died instantly, yet he feels no fear. Zhu Cheng coldly mocks the monsters, saying they are nothing compared to the thing behind him. The wolves roar and attack. Zhu Cheng activates sharp instincts, dodges effortlessly, and counterattacks in one fluid motion. Qiaolin is impressed, saying he is handling 4 elite monsters without disadvantage. Liu Wei disagrees, comparing him to their captain. Tu Han regains composure and notes that some awakened fighters can solo bosses, but this is the first time she has seen someone fight one barehanded. She cannot determine Zhu Cheng's true level, but warns it is still not enough. Zhu Cheng struggles as the Wolf King's speed overwhelms him. Fighting 4 at once drains his stamina, so he decides to reduce their numbers first. He charges straight at the strongest target, aiming to take down the boss first. However, even his full power attack fails to break the boss's stone-like armor. The monster counters and regenerates, forcing him to rethink his strategy. He realizes he must break the formation quickly. Seeing this, Li Rui becomes greedy and believes the boss is not that strong. He thinks this is his chance to reclaim leadership and glory. He rushes in with killing intent, trying to strike Zhu Cheng from behind, but Zhu Cheng casually deflects his sword. At the same time, Zhu Cheng dodges, causing the monster's claw to miss and redirect straight toward Li Rui. Li Rui panics and activates his defensive skill in desperation, but the overwhelming force crushes his shield instantly, sending him crashing into the cliff. Zhu Cheng catches his sword mid-air. He decides to finish quickly and channels all soul points into agility. Immediately, the system panel flashes with notifications. 800 souls are consumed to boost agility from 0 to 5. Once agility hits 10, the skill Godspeed is unlocked, granting another 750 souls. Zhu Cheng smirks as he turns into a blur, slashing clean through the monster's body. He mutters one down, amazed that stat upgrades can trigger new combat skills. Studying the system further, he realizes Godspeed not only adds 10 base agility, but also boosts speed by 15 and grants multiple powerful passive effects. With this burst potential, even a boss might not survive him. His blade pierces the next monster's throat. 2, he counts calmly. The system rewards another 750 souls. Watching from a distance, Tu-Han is stunned as his combat ability suddenly jumps to a whole new level. She cannot believe what she is seeing. On the other side, a monster hesitates in fear. Then it hears complaints from afar, blaming someone for dragging them into trouble. It quickly shifts its attention toward the weaker group. Sensing an easier target, the beast charges at Lu Wei and Qiao Lin. Lu Wei screams in panic as Qiao Lin is startled. Qiao Lin forces herself up, unleashing all her strength and shouting that they will not be easy prey. At the moment of crisis, a streak of wind-like speed tears through the battlefield. Zhu Cheng suddenly appears and cleanly slices the monster in half, casually praising Qiao Lin for holding on well. The system shows total souls reaching 2260. Zhu Cheng smiles, finally hitting the 2,000-point milestone. Without hesitation, he confirms the upgrade. A radiant light erupts as he advances from E rank level 6 to D rank level 1, leaving 260 souls. A mechanical voice announces his authority has been upgraded, unlocking abyssal power and new domain skills. He also gains an exclusive divine skill, while the evil god's remaining wishes drop to 992. Zhu Cheng locks onto the remaining monster as new skill data appears. God of Death Cleave, allowing 4 strikes infused with divine pressure within the abyssal domain. With absolute defense penetration, his scythe-like strike splits the giant beast before it can react. The system updates his full status, confirming Drank Evolution, Abyssal Potential, and newly unlocked skills, leaving 260 souls and 992 divine wishes. Immediately, another reward triggers, 5,000 souls obtained. Zhu Cheng calmly looks at the destroyed corpse, impressed by the massive soul gain. He notes the boss-level reward is worth it, and thanks to the new skill, the fight ended quickly. The quest completion message appears. Defeat the Lava Wolf King. Reward, Lava Wolf King Crystal. Zhu Cheng studies the mysterious crystal, confused by its lack of instructions. While he is thinking, Qiao Lin and Lu Wei rush over, shocked and excited, praising his solo victory over a boss. They check the corpse nervously, wondering if it might have a second phase. Tu-Han walks in calmly and explains the energy inside the gate has stabilized. The boss is truly dead. The examiner confirms the trial is complete, and they have passed. Qiao Lin joyfully hugs Lu Wei and shouts in excitement. After all that fighting, they finally passed the exam. She calls Zhu Cheng a true powerhouse. The healer girl tears up, saying she never thought she would clear this trial in her life. Qiao Lin turns and respectfully bows to Zhu Cheng, thanking him for carrying the team. Zhu Cheng awkwardly waves it off and tells them to just call him by name. After everyone calms down, Tu-Han announces she will report the results. Lu Wei and Qiao Lin are awarded 5 academic credits each. Lu Wei feels embarrassed, saying they barely did anything, and it was all thanks to Zhu Cheng. Tu-Han gently disagrees, saying both of them performed well by staying composed and not becoming a burden. Even under pressure, they never gave up, which is worth praise. She then praises Zhu Cheng as the best new student she has ever seen. Noting his overwhelming combat ability and leadership, she confirms his solo kills of 4 elites and awards him a perfect score of 10, plus 5 points taken from Li Di, totaling 15 credits. Qiao Lin is stunned by the score. Lu Wei also gasps, saying she has never seen such a high result before. Zhu Cheng calmly thanks her. Tu-Han smiles and says that if the rules were more flexible, this score still wouldn't fully reflect his contribution. Li Di suddenly struggles to stand up and angrily demands why his credits were taken. Tu-Han coldly looks at him and calls him unworthy. She states that as team leader he abandoned his teammates, endangered the mission, and even attempted a backstab. His evaluation is cancelled, and he is permanently disqualified from the exam. Li Di breaks down, shouting that he only wanted to end the fight quickly and demands an appeal. Tu-Han ignores him and walks away, telling him to file a complaint if he dares. She warns that once higher authorities investigate, his punishment will only become worse. Those words crush his final hope. Li Di collapses in despair as Tu Han declares the situation resolved. She tells the group to leave the gate before it closes. Everyone agrees and exits. After stepping out of the spatial gate, the examiner submits the report. Rewards will be credited within 24 hours. The students thank her and take their leave. Chao Lin excitedly asks Zhu Cheng for contact information. Lu Wei also adds that they may invite him for future missions. Zhu Cheng smiles and agrees to share it. As they celebrate, Tu Han clears her throat and approaches Zhu Cheng. She invites him to join the Shadow Guild, offering a high position and a 3 million signing bonus, saying she is confident the guild leader will approve it. Zhu Cheng quickly compares the 3 million offer in his mind, realizing it's actually a bargain if Shadow Us top price is only that much. Understanding the value, he politely declines Lan En, saying studies come first and he won't join any organization yet. Su Han sighs after the rejection, then recalls that the examiner was Lan En, meaning a genius like him was likely already targeted by the Shenhe Guild. Hiding her disappointment, she smiles professionally and says it's a pity, while still welcoming him to change his mind anytime. Suddenly, a clear yet powerful voice cuts into the conversation, remarking that the assessment seems to have gone very smoothly. Zhu Cheng instinctively turns and nods at the two women who appear, Lan En and Shi. Lan En walks in with elegant confidence, smiling brightly as she says she came to pick him up, while glancing at Su Han with suspicion before asking what they were discussing. The examiner calmly brushes it off, saying it was just a congratulatory talk for an outstanding new student. Sensing the situation, Liu Wei and Zhuo Lin politely excuse themselves and leave, waving goodbye to Zhu Cheng as they head back. After the crowd disperses, Zhu Cheng walks up and asks Lan En if she really came all the way just to wait for him. Lan En smiles with hands behind her back, saying his test finished faster than expected, and she already had his luggage sent to the dorm, then leads him to his new room. They cross the spacious campus and stop in front of a well-built dorm building. Lan En opens the door and introduces the place as his new apartment-style dorm, telling him to settle for now and upgrade later when he earns enough credits. Zhu Cheng looks around and admits this level of comfort already feels too luxurious for him. Zhu Cheng then gets straight to the point, asking if passing the test means she can finally explain the real reason behind the invitation. His tone sharpens as he presses for the truth. She frowns nervously and whispers whether Lan En truly plans to reveal everything so soon. Lan En calmly reassures her assistant, saying she fully trusts Zhu Cheng and that bringing him in means giving him complete trust. She adds that his performance alone already proves he deserves to silence critics within the guild. Zhu Cheng catches the implication and asks who those people are, and Lan En begins revealing internal tensions, explaining she is the rightful heir, but the guild is split into 3 rival factions fighting for control. She continues that to secure her position, she must clean up the internal structure and build a loyal faction under her own leadership. Then she looks directly at Zhu Cheng, saying, this is why she needs a powerful outsider like him. Zhu Cheng quickly understands the situation, realizing it is all a power struggle. He bluntly asks if everyone's inside the guild is essentially a potential traitor. Lan En explains she has been observing him for a long time, from the rookie battle event to his performance in the Keshui zone. She says his pure combat instinct and overwhelming strength are exactly what she needs, and then reveals the critical link between them, his massive debt. She lightly apologizes, admitting she had secretly investigated his background beforehand. Reports show the underground loan shark network in the city is only the tip of the iceberg. Behind it is a hidden financial conglomerate backed by powerful central-level protection. Lan En continues her psychological pressure, explaining they are deeply rooted, abusing power, stealing identities, and wiping records of anyone they want. For valuable targets like him, even if he somehow repays everything, he would still be trapped in their invisible net. She says they would use every dirty method to turn him into a disposable killing machine. But fate is ironic. The mastermind behind that organization is also her greatest enemy. If he joins her, she will use Shenhe Guild's influence to protect him and cut off their control. Once she crushes the rebel faction, she promises to erase his debt records completely. In the end, they share the same enemy and the same goal. Zhu Cheng's mind runs at full speed, weighing every advantage and risk. A super guild backing him now is the perfect shield against hidden dangers, and the guild privileges would massively boost his future growth. This kind of win-win deal is something only a fool would reject. After thinking it through, he shrugs and agrees to help, asking what steps he needs to take. Lan En smiles in satisfaction, saying the plan won't happen overnight, and for now he should just live and train like a normal new student. Understanding the signal, Assistant Shi quietly steps back into a corner and begins typing on her device. A few seconds later, Zhu Cheng's phone vibrates violently. He checks it and freezes. His bank account has just received 5 million. Staring at the endless digits, he mutters in shock that the 5 million was transferred so casually. Seeing his reaction, Lan En laughs softly and explains that joining Shenhe requires a minimum deposit per guild rules. This 5 million isn't salary, but her personal welcome gift. Once he officially signs, the benefits will be far greater. She says she has high expectations for his potential. She glances at the time and gently tells him to rest since he must be exhausted after the battle, adding that he can contact her anytime if he needs anything. Zhu Cheng thanks them and leaves. The moment the door clicks shut, Zhu Cheng relaxes completely and collapses onto the soft bed, letting out a long, tired breath. Finally, he can rest and review his gains from the day. With a thought, the system interface spreads before his eyes. Reaching rank D has unlocked hidden features, and combined with his accumulated rewards, he notices a brand new option appearing. He wonders if this new potential system is directly linked to the dark seed inside his body. Checking the cost, he realizes the required soul energy is far higher than normal attributes. After careful calculation, he decides it's inefficient to dump everything into one stat. Remembering his previous success with agility, he considers investing 5 points into this new potential. He confirms the upgrade. The system immediately consumes 1,600 soul energy. Potential increases from 0 to 5. Remaining soul energy, 3,660. A notification appears. Dark Abyss potential has resonated and strengthened. His exclusive skill Sky Sever Slash upgrades from level 1 to level 2, increasing uses to 6 times. A new skill unlocks, Abyss Space. A subdimensional pocket space opens, allowing storage of items within the Abyss realm. At level 1, capacity reaches 160 slots. Zhu Cheng punches the air in excitement, realizing his theory was correct. Investing in potential triggers chain upgrades across all Abyss-related skills. Unable to contain his curiosity, Zhu Cheng activates the skill and focuses on an empty water bottle lying beside the bed. The bottle instantly disappears without a trace. Inventory status shows Abyss Space Level 1, 3 out of 160 slots used. Stored items, water bottle, crystal Nam Lang King shard, and scattered demon fragments. He then thinks of retrieving it, and the bottle reappears instantly in his hand. Zhu Cheng excitedly plays with this new magic toy, realizing that with this invisible storage, hunting monsters will be effortless, like carrying a cheat bag everywhere. He swipes across the transparent interface and notices a new set of menus: status, level up, attributes, storage rank, and exchange shop. He tries the rank tab, but a red warning appears immediately: no core rank up item detected. Access denied. He shrugs and moves on, focusing on the exchange shop instead. The shop opens, showing clear pricing and his balance of 3,660 soul energy. Listings include Basic Healing Potion 100, Basic Stamina Potion 100, Iron Shield 1100, Basic Greatsword 1500, Basic Combat Armor 1700, Basic Dual Blades 1200, and Basic Daggers 1500. Zhu Cheng is stunned by the variety. Even high-damage weapons are available here. After his recent bloody battle, he deeply understands the importance of strong gear. Rumor says Academy weapons already cost tens of thousands in cash, and enchanted ones are priced beyond imagination. Gritting his teeth, he confirms the purchase and spends 500 soul energy. The system immediately materializes a basic greatsword in midair. He grabs it and tests the weight, feeling its cold blade and solid balance, nodding in approval at its decent quality. However, looking at his remaining 2,160 soul energy, he feels a wave of pain. Over 5,000 soul energy earned through blood and sweat has already vanished in an instant. Cultivation truly feels like a money-burning sport. Suddenly, dark energy swirls around the sword, and a faint phantom of an ancient spirit begins to form, releasing a terrifying pressure. Zhu Cheng flinches, muttering that it almost scared him to death. Through the invisible mental link, he clearly senses the true power of Abyss Space. It is not just a storage bag, but a forbidden system that can directly summon ancient demonic spirits into battle. The crimson-eyed spirit becomes excited and speaks in a hoarse voice, praising him for mastering Abyss control so quickly. It says he has already grasped the system's evolution rules. Zhu Cheng nods and explains he had a rough combat test earlier, barely surviving after destroying a spatial anomaly and escaping alive. The spirit narrows its eyes, impressed by his rapid transformation in such a short time. It says this saves it the trouble of slowly feeding him power. If he is already capable of entering dimensional rifts, then it is time for him to start working off his debt. The next day, in the noisy main hall of the Ability Assessment Bureau, the spirit, now hiding as a floating shadow following behind him, asks in a low voice what he is doing here. Zhu Cheng whispers back that he is here for a potential evaluation, since official certification is required to unlock higher-paying missions. He explains that only with an official rank can he access better rewards. Next candidate, Zhu Cheng. A clear female voice calls out, interrupting his thoughts. He immediately stands up, present. As they walk, the staff member flips through his file and smiles politely, saying she already checked his background and asks if he is a new student this year. Zhu Cheng casually walks with hands in pockets and nods. She continues, explaining that awakening potential to Drank at his age is extremely rare, like finding autumn leaves. She adds that he is likely unfamiliar with the evaluation process and offers to give him a brief explanation. She points at the massive magical machine and calmly explains that it uses mana waves to scan the hidden potential inside his body. The system then converts it into color grades, ranked from lowest to highest: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and the highest, legendary. The rarer and more radiant the color, the greater his future evolution space and potential growth. She adds that even if the result is weak and comes out as the lowest grade, there is no need to be discouraged, since there is still a chance for a second awakening. In the distance, someone cheers loudly after getting silver rank, while another curses in frustration at receiving bronze, calling it trash. Ignoring the noise, the staff leads him to a glowing stone pillar, engraved with ancient runes. She hands him a black identity token and tells him to simply place his hand on the stone and relax. Zhu Cheng calmly places his hand on the cold crystal surface. Instantly, the stone reacts violently. Colors of green, white, and gold flicker chaotically, causing the staff member to step back in shock, confused by the unstable readings. Before she can recover, all the colors suddenly spiral together and fuse into a dark purple beam never recorded before. A terrifying, oppressive aura spreads across the hall, making everyone instinctively tremble and struggle to breathe. The crowd erupts into panic and shock, shouting about the strange energy fluctuation and wondering what kind of potential this even is, as the pressure becomes unbearable. The female staff member stares in disbelief. In her entire career, she has never seen such a violent reaction from the measurement device. The machine emits a cold notification, apostle. The crowd goes silent before erupting again, confused and shocked, as this color has never been recorded. The staff quickly checks the database and realizes it is not just a name of a skill, but a class designation. Zhu Cheng frowns and asks what a class name means. The staff carefully explains that normally, during the first awakening, only basic skill names appear. She points at the screen, saying that standard abilities like Flame or Storm only show skill names at first. Only after a second awakening do full classes like Flame Warrior or Storm Mage appear. But Zhu Cheng already received a class name during his first awakening, which should be impossible. At that moment, a middle-aged man rushes over with a stern expression, asking what caused the disturbance. The staff quickly reports that the test subject's potential color is purple, and the displayed name is Apostle, like a second awakening class. The man is shocked and snatches the report, demanding to see it himself. After carefully reviewing the data, he confirms the device is not malfunctioning, and that the result is beyond normal understanding. He immediately contacts higher authorities to report the emergence of a new purpletier potential called Apostle. The staff hands over a fully processed black card, confirming completion of the procedure. The man nods and turns to Zhu Cheng with expectation, confirming his name and telling him that his potential rank is a unique grade never seen before in history. Due to insufficient data, it cannot be classified yet, so it is temporarily marked as unique. His apostle class will also be studied further by higher-ups. He adds that future evaluation will depend on Zhu Cheng's real-world performance, and only after collecting enough data will an accurate ranking be assigned. Zhu Cheng studies the card, suspecting the purple color is linked to the shattered fragment of creation power. Meanwhile, the surrounding crowd continues whispering. Some call it a unique grade, saying it sounds incredibly powerful, while others doubt it, arguing it might not be strong at all. Still, the name Apostle alone already feels anything but ordinary. Zhu Cheng keeps a calm expression, but internally he sighs. Apostle sounds impressive, but in reality, it just feels like being someone's tool. Either way, he now has his certification, and it's time to start earning resources. In the noisy mission hall, a young man approaches Zhu Cheng with a recruiting tone, asking if he is looking for an A-rank mission. He introduces himself as Zhang Hao and says they need one more person for a gathering mission, asking if Zhu Cheng is interested. Zhu Cheng becomes interested when he hears gathering mission. Zhang Hao quickly explains on his phone that the target is a mine island that has already been inspected and is considered very safe. Although the credits are lower than combat missions, it is safer and pays better in cash. Zhu Cheng is surprised to see the reward. For a 4-person team, each member gets 2 credits and 50,000 yuan. A deal like this gives him no reason to refuse, so he agrees immediately. Zhang Hao excitedly pats him on the shoulder and tells him to join the mission through the official school app. He explains how to register, find the post, and click join since most teams recruit there. Soon after, he says he has found a member. The other teammates also sigh in relief. Finally, the team is complete, and they prepare to depart. Ju Chung notices the team feels a bit rough and asks if there is any safety supervisor. Zhang Hao explains that supervision is only free for new student assessments. For other missions, they must hire one themselves, and since this mission is simple, they did not. Standing before a glowing crystal mine cave, everyone can't help but marvel at its scale and beauty, saying they have never seen such a large mineral vein before. Zhu Cheng relaxes slightly and also admires the scene. Suddenly, the spirit inside him reacts and a mission alert appears in his mind. Collect 150 crystals within 1 hour. The old spirit urges him on, saying the mineral energy here is dense and can help restore power, telling him this is good luck and he must take advantage of it. Zhang Hao hands him a pickaxe, saying he has extra tools and telling him to get started quickly so they can turn in the mission. Zhu Cheng swings the pickaxe with surprising force. Zhang Hao is stunned, realizing his physical strength is far beyond expectations, and asks if he has strength-type potential. Zhu Cheng casually replies that it is something like that. Zhang Hao praises him, saying strength-type abilities are very useful for combat, while his own perception-type ability is useless in fights, so he can only do gathering missions. Suddenly, the Abyss Spirit growls in frustration, unable to absorb the mineral energy. It complains that something is wrong. Zhu Cheng also notices a system prompt, saying he has no ownership permission. Even the Abyss Space cannot devour the minerals, because they have not been claimed by him. Zhang Hao notices him standing still, and warns him not to just stare, joking that he might be trying to steal something. He reminds him that everything here belongs to the school, and theft will be heavily punished. Zhu Cheng realizes the issue and sighs inwardly, thinking 1 hour is too short to collect enough. The spirit coldly responds that it doesn't care. The mission is already set, and he must figure it out himself. Suddenly, a violent tremor shakes the entire cave. The ground rumbles, and everyone panics, asking if it is an earthquake. Someone points into the darkness and screams that the crystal-devouring king worm has appeared. Panic spreads through the cave as people shout that the mission was supposed to be 100 safe. One member explains that the worm nests inside mineral veins and is extremely sensitive to mining activity, meaning they have likely disturbed it. Someone yells to abandon the crystals and retreat immediately. At the rear, Zhu Cheng glances at the massive creature closing in and casually pushes Zhang Hao forward to let him escape first. Zhang Hao screams for him. The Abyss Spirit mocks him, saying he is too reckless and shouldn't be caught so easily by such a low-level monster. Zhu Cheng smiles confidently, saying he let himself get caught on purpose. The king worm charges into the rock passage, but is instantly knocked back by a powerful kick. The spirit laughs in interest, noting there are many crystals here, and that Zhu Cheng has attracted quite a few guests. Chu Cheng stands facing the swarm of worms, frustrated that this mission gives no soul gain, but he sees it as a good chance to test the limits of Death Touch. He coldly activates Death Touch, unleashing continuous strikes that wipe out waves of worm creatures while their souls are steadily absorbed. The evil god nods in approval, impressed by his mastery of 6 dark abyss tentacles that create flawless blind spot-free attacks. Chu Cheng shrugs it off, admitting the skill is highly effective, though it drains a huge amount of mental energy. After clearing the minions, Chu Cheng draws his sword and activates Speed Boost, flashing across the queen beetle and leaving a storm of fatal slashes on its body. The evil god comments that it's not bad and the fight is acceptable, but the old man urges him to keep moving before the rift closes, while Chu Cheng looks annoyed. Chu Cheng fully focuses his power, ordering the dark abyss tentacles to mine aggressively, completing 150 mineral crystals and gaining over 15,000 souls. Then he uses them to level up to D rank level 2, boosting physical strength, power, and spirit, unlocking 2 skills, exclusive overdrive strike and exclusive breath suspension, which greatly improves recovery, and he also collects loot including a rare mutated crystal from the boss. The evil god is shocked, recognizing it as a rare material used for mech armor evolution, a technique thought to be lost, and urges him to hurry as the rift is about to close. Outside the transmission gate, the crowd panics as the crack keeps closing, realizing the mission was for resource gathering, and closure likely means the boss has been killed. Zhang Hao angrily questions why no rescue team has been sent after half an hour, while the officer explains the beast nest is too complex and dangerous, and most people would likely die if swallowed, so no one dares to enter. Zhang Hao breaks down in tears, overwhelmed with regret and frustration. Suddenly, a figure slowly walks out of the smoke, shocking everyone present. The crowd gasps in disbelief, wondering if that person is really the one swallowed by the devouring Star Beetle King, and how he could possibly survive without equipment. Jiang Hao rushes over and grabs Chu Cheng's shoulders in relief, asking how he is still alive, while Chu Cheng casually lies that he was just lucky to be stuck in the beetle's teeth and escaped. He continues explaining that he forced his way out of the monster's mouth and followed his blurry memory to escape the nest, but had no time to bring out equipment or mineral resources. Jiang Hao laughs it off and pulls Chu Cheng away, saying equipment doesn't matter as long as He's alive, then invites him to dinner, while the system displays a notification. Mission completed with 173150 mineral progress. Reward granted as the crystal of the devouring star beetle king. At the hospital, Ye Qing stands frozen in shock as she looks at the empty room. Panicking, she runs around desperately asking where her mother has gone. She grabs a nurse and asks where her mother is, and the nurse calmly explains the patient has been moved to the intensive care VIP room. Yi Qing is stunned, questioning how a VIP room could be affordable since only the wealthy can access it, while the nurse explains that Principal Hu from Lai Te Yu School personally paid 6 months of fees and arranged the transfer, and a mysterious boy handled the process. Yi Qing's mind goes blank as she starts wondering if that boy might be her brother. Meanwhile, in the training room, a dark energy begins to swirl and flow along Chu Cheng's arm. System notifications continuously report the consumption of 3,000 souls as the Carderly Armor Shard completes its evolution. The Carderly Armor Shard 1 grants permanent physical power enhancement when equipped, with perfect-grade explosive burst activation that can negate incoming enemy attacks. The evil god floats nearby, impressed, saying he never expected such an evolution method hidden inside the creation fragment. Chu Cheng calmly admires the faint armor forming over his arm, satisfied with Today's gains, while also thinking about the 2 crystals stored in his inventory, believing they are likely valuable upgrade materials for future missions. He sighs in relief, thinking about the 5 million he received from Lin An. He immediately transferred 3 million to Principal Hu for his mother's treatment and used the remaining 2 million to completely clear his smallest debt. The burden on his shoulders finally feels lighter. His current mission rewards are enough for daily expenses. Once he reaches higher rank missions, clearing debt will only be a matter of time. The real question is whether he can break free from the forces controlling him. Although Lin An treats him well, Chu Cheng knows danger still lies ahead. He needs to grow stronger to protect himself and his loved ones. He frowns, deciding he must keep clearing rifts alone and check the school forum for suitable missions. The forum is flooded with recruitment posts. Drank raid team missing 1 tank, seeking strong frontline ranged DPS needed for balanced squad resource gathering mission, looking for damage dealers professional teams, guaranteeing safety 3 missing 1 raid groups, urgently seeking skilled members for fast rewards. Chu Cheng scans through them and shakes his head. These teams all want top-tier players, and sharing kills would reduce soul gain. Group missions feel inefficient. If everyone is inexperienced, it might work better. Suddenly, a bold idea forms in his mind. Why not form his own team? He quickly types a strange recruitment post. Support only team, no combat experience required. Ideal for members who want to be carried. Team leader guarantees mission completion. Members must not interfere with operations and must obey commands absolutely. Rewards will be split evenly. Chu Cheng lazily presses send. The evil god is speechless, mocking that no one would believe such absurd conditions. Chu Cheng still holds a faint hope, deciding to try anyway and rest for now, planning to find other teams if it fails. The next morning arrives. A loud knocking sound wakes him up. He groans, realizing he has been asleep for over 10 minutes, and slowly stumbles to open the door, yawning. Who is it this early? Liu Wei stands at the entrance with a gentle smile, while a crowd fills the hallway behind her. Chu Cheng instantly becomes fully alert, shocked, asking what is going on. He whispers to Liu Wei why so many people are at his dorm. Liu Wei explains that he posted a recruitment for a support team, and the message spread everywhere. Many people kept messaging him, and since she knows him, she brought them directly here. Chu Cheng suddenly remembers he left his phone on silent mode. He assumed it was spam and debt collectors, so he ignored it completely. He is surprised that so many people actually believed his conditions. Liu Wei explains that support-type players struggle to find teams, so they all want a strong DPS carry like him. Right now, everyone is eager to meet him. The crowd outside murmurs in doubt, unsure if this strange solo carry strategy can really clear a rift, feeling the whole situation sounds too suspicious to be real. Liu Wei turns back and confidently tells the crowd she is already in a team with the expert and guarantees everything. Hearing this, the hesitant crowd slowly agrees. A girl timidly raises her hand and asks if they can really get equal rewards without doing anything. Chu Cheng calmly confirms it, as long as everyone obeys him and does not interfere with his actions. The crowd instantly explodes with excitement, everyone scrambling to go first and asking to prioritize their missions. Lu Wei awkwardly admits she didn't expect so many people. She just wanted to show off that she knew him and asks which mission he will take. Chu Cheng smirks dangerously and says he will take all of them. At the Hengshen Group branch, a brutal man swings a punch straight into Lin Yu's face. He curses violently, blaming him for being the worst performer and causing punishment from higher-ups, mocking his weak attitude. He grabs Lin Yu's hair and coldly orders him to collect debts by any means, even stripping valuables from people or selling them as slaves. He pushes him away and warns that if results don't improve, the company will replace him and even take everything from his body and his child. Lin Yu silently endures and walks out of the company in silence. His subordinates rush up and ask about his injuries. He coldly replies that it's nothing serious. One subordinate suggests they should become more ruthless, like other teams, and expand operations. Lin Yu immediately slaps him and refuses, saying they will not sink to that level, even if they are desperate. Another subordinate brings up Chu Cheng, noting he suddenly cleared a huge debt and entered a prestigious academy, suggesting he might be a big target. They wonder how a poor kid suddenly got so much money and status. Lin Yu narrows his eyes and coldly says he might be a valuable big fish. System logs show multiple Drank dungeon clears, including Tree Demon Cave and other missions, granting massive soul rewards. More mission results appear, including Swamp Merman and Rock Giant clears, each yielding large amounts of souls and rewards. Chu Cheng reviews the mission results with satisfaction, his soul gain skyrocketing thanks to the support team, and he begins allocating attribute points. Massive soul consumption triggers upgrades. Rank increases, strength, spirit, and potential are heavily boosted. Remaining souls drop to 1,530. New skills are unlocked including upgraded Death Slash, upgraded Dark Space, and a new fear-based skill that creates a psychological abyss. Suddenly, a distant scream echoes in panic, shouting about a mutated demon beast appearing. A swarm of Drank monsters crawls in, surrounding the group, and causing panic among the support members. Chu Cheng steps forward with a cold gaze that freezes the monsters in place. He asks who allowed them to touch his team. He activates the Eye of Sovereign Authority, and a warning appears. Enemies have entered a fear state. Chu Cheng realizes his absolute perception lets him catch every tiny change in his opponent. Excited, he activates his gaze and decides to test his new skill, Fear Origin, a unique combat technique. A pitch-black aura of dread engulfs the entire space. In an instant, all monsters are completely wiped out with precision. Lu Wei is stunned by the devastating scene and can't even speak, shocked by this new ability. Everyone else is speechless as well, their jaws dropping. Even after seeing Chu Cheng fight before, they are still overwhelmed by fear. Chu Cheng analyzes the situation, realizing fear allows him to fully control enemies and finish them with Dark Abyss tentacles. But this time, only a few thousand souls were gained, around 2,100, much lower than expected due to weak enemies. Lu Wei happily runs over and says, everyone has finished collecting loot, and they can turn in the mission. Chu Cheng asks what's next, and she says there are no more missions left for now. She tells him to rest well, and says they will contact him when new missions appear. Chu Cheng nods and returns to the dorm. He reflects that soul gains are decreasing, likely due to system restrictions preventing easy leveling in low-level rifts, and decides higher-tier dungeons are necessary. However, Academy rules prevent Drank students from taking crank missions. He considers asking Lin An for help, but worries it might expose his rapid growth and attract unwanted attention. Suddenly, his phone receives a private message offering an easy mission worth 100,000 gold just to accompany someone for a day. The sender raises it to 300,000 gold, then reveals it is actually protection inside a wild rift. Chu Cheng immediately becomes alert at the mention of a wild rift. The next day, the evil god floats beside Chu Cheng and asks why they are here. Chu Cheng quietly says he is meeting someone to confirm something. He sees a nervous man waiting in the distance and approaches, asking if he is the one who sent the mission request. The man stammers in confusion. From behind a tree, Lin Yu steps out with a smug expression and casually puts his arm around Chu Cheng, confirming he is the one he is looking for and dismissing the guide. The guide immediately runs away after apologizing, relieved to leave the situation. Chu Cheng freezes, sensing something is wrong, realizing he has been tricked. Lin Yu narrows his eyes and says he knows Chu Cheng recently cleared a 2 million debt in one go and wants to know how he made his money, offering safety in exchange for the information. Chu Cheng sighs, turns away, and walks off, disappointed that his plan to find a wild rift has fallen apart. Seeing himself ignored, Lin Yu removes his glasses, his expression turning cold and dangerous. He releases his energy, aura erupting violently as he threatens Chu Cheng for underestimating him. He activates a combat skill, saying it has been a long time since anyone has forced him to fight seriously. Chu Cheng stops, his eyes turning cold as memories of past dealings with Lin Yu surface. He recognizes him again. Chu Cheng frowns and questions why Lin Yu is still bothering him, even though he already paid his debt on time. He shrugs with a mocking tone, saying Chu Cheng has money, so that's exactly why he came for him. Chu Cheng shows clear disgust, coldly saying that even after paying off his debt, he still can't live in peace, calling them shameless. Lin Yu steps closer, looking down on him arrogantly, mocking him for thinking joining an academy makes him special. He threatens that only a couple of punches will teach him a lesson. A sharp sound echoes. Chu Cheng suddenly throws a lightning-fast punch, sending Lin Yu flying dozens of meters away. Lin Yu struggles to stand, shocked and confused, unable to understand how a drank could move faster than a crank, especially while being suppressed. He grits his teeth, insisting it was just luck, and activates a combat skill called Gravity Fist. Before he can finish, Chu Cheng already rushes in. A brutal barrage of hits rains down, leaving Lin Yu only able to cover his head in despair. Lin Yu's mind collapses as he realizes he cannot fight back at all, and that Chu Cheng is far beyond drank. Chu Cheng looks down coldly at the defeated man. Lin Yu panics and retreats, begging him to stop and admit defeat. The evil god floats around Lin Yu like a bloodthirsty shadow, amused, asking whether they should torture or kill him first. Chu Cheng shakes his head, saying he still needs answers, so it's not time to kill him yet. The evil god sighs in disappointment. Lin Yu turns pale, terrified by Chu Cheng's calm killing intent, begging desperately and insisting it's all a misunderstanding. Chu Cheng activates the Eye of Sovereign Authority again, forcing Lin Yu into a state of absolute fear where reality twists in his vision. Chu Cheng appears like a dark reaper inside the void of fear, activating Fear Origin and warning they will talk, but he can see if Lin Yu is lying. Lin Yu collapses mentally, begging for mercy and promises to answer everything. Chu Cheng coldly questions why he targeted him, and whether he also threatened his family. Lin Yu nervously denies any intention of harming them. The system confirms the target's fear and psychological breakdown. Chu Cheng sighs, eyes sharpening, preparing to continue. Lin Yu screams in panic, admitting he was only desperate for money, after seeing Chu Cheng repay 2 million at once, and wanted to learn how he did it, insisting he never intended to touch his family. Chu Cheng remains skeptical, mentioning a previous incident where 3 men invaded his home, claiming to be Lin Yu's subordinates. Lin Yu hurriedly explains those men were rogue debt collectors, and he already dealt with them, insisting he is telling the truth. The Eye of Sovereign Authority shows no lie detected. Chu Cheng sits down and calmly asks why his debt suddenly inflated to over 100 million, suspecting the system is rigged by the Hongsheng Group. Lin Yu confirms it is indeed controlled by the company and designed to trap borrowers in lifelong exploitation. He admits he is also trapped in debt, forced to work for the company, and was beaten for failing targets, which led him to approach Chu Cheng. Chu Cheng sighs in frustration, realizing the real mastermind is the corporation behind everything, just as he had suspected. Chu Cheng kept questioning him. If you've already climbed to a management position, you must have done plenty of dirty work, right? Lin Yu quickly denied it in panic, saying he didn't. He just looked intimidating. He wasn't like those ruthless people who do anything to reach their goals. Aside from debt collection, he had never done anything immoral, except for selling an Arank beast to the Blackwater District. Chu Cheng was startled when he heard that. Blackwater District's beast, was that the name of the underground boxing ring? Could the Desolate Rift really exist? He pressed urgently, asking where the Desolate Rift was. Lin Yu looked confused at first, then nodded. Huh? Oh, I actually happen to have a rift ready to report. Chu Cheng's eyes lit up. Good, take me there. Not long after, in a dilapidated abandoned warehouse in East 7 District, Lin Yu brought him to a fluctuating space. We're here. This is it. Chu Cheng focused on the energy around him. It really was a spatial rift. Judging by the energy fluctuations, it was a crank rift. But this type of rift was tightly controlled by the military and central authorities. How did he even know about it? Lin Yu scratched his ear awkwardly and admitted he had connections in the management system. Before reporting it, he was tipped off so he could make some profit first. If lucky, he could get spirit minerals or beast materials and sell them on the black market. Chu Cheng then asked if he had a rift-opening device. Those items were supposed to be reclaimed after each mission. Lin Yu pulled out a small device, explaining that before strict regulations were enforced, these things often leaked out and were sold on the black market. His was also bought there, and not cheap. Chu Cheng nodded in satisfaction. Good. Open the rift. As the spatial gate expanded, the two stepped into an unfamiliar world. A red system notification immediately appeared in Chu Cheng's mind. Optional mission. Eliminate all enemies inside the rift. He smirked slightly. Another wish-type quest. Finding a high-level rift was the right choice. Lin Yu looked hesitant and muttered that if Chu Cheng wanted to check things out, he might be disappointed. He had been here once before and found nothing. It was too dangerous, they should leave. But Chu Cheng kept walking forward without stopping. He said he wasn't here to make quick money. His goal was to conquer the rift. Lin Yu's face changed in shock. Conquer the rift? Are you crazy? A crank rift required at least 5 crank awakeners or 14 drank awakeners. Just the 2 of them couldn't possibly do it. Chu Cheng turned back. Oh? You know quite a lot. Lin Yu didn't take it as praise. He said that before becoming a debt collector, he was part of a conquest team. Chu Cheng replied calmly that it was just basic knowledge, then said this joke wasn't funny, and continued walking. Chu Cheng casually raised the rift opening device. You're looking for this? Lin Yu froze in shock. Since when did you take that? Chu Cheng didn't answer, his tone cold. Just in case, I'll hold on to it. Otherwise getting out will be troublesome. And you're wrong about one thing. It's not we conquering it. It's me alone. You are not allowed to take action. Heavy footsteps grew closer. Chu Cheng noticed it. Here they come. Lin Yu trembled as he looked up at the black shadows descending. Razor ape demons, there were so many of them. These creatures were brutally violent and lived in packs. The appearance of one meant a whole nest was nearby. Damn it, they were going to be devoured alive. Chu Cheng smiled with satisfaction. Energy around him erupted. A swarm of them? Even better. He stood his ground as tentacles tore through space, shredding through reality and sending each monster to its death. The razor ape demons charged in a frenzy, surrounding them completely, but Lin Yu could only stand frozen in place. His eyes widened in terror. This is a crank beast. How is it being instantly slaughtered like this? Could this be how that guy makes his money?